Hey everybody, I wanted to have a little late night hangout. I don't want to have a rum and coke because I'm on a diet and I don't want to drink alcohol tonight. So it's not really rum and coke night, but I do have a fruit on the ground creationist. Number 6, I'm going to call this if it is worthy to be in my playlist, because this is classic. This is epic. I was over on Ken Hovind official, and our good old friend Westy Downs, you guys remember him? He was my excuse me, he was my fruit on the ground creationist 4. He was the guy that did not know what DNA stood for, did not know what inbreeding was, and basically claimed to be an evolutionary expert and a biologist. And it just, if you ever watched the video of fruit on the ground creationist, welcome back, Westcott Downs, you guys know who this guy is. Well, him and this other guy named Robert Shilling are on Ken Hovind's thread. I'll put the video in the description here in a second here so you guys can follow along here. So this is kind of like a modified rum and coke night. Instead of making fun of flat earthers, we're going to actually mess with this creationist who's a solipsist. Yeah, he actually doesn't believe I exist. He wants evidence that I exist because he doesn't think that I exist. I have not found anybody like that before. I don't think I've ever ran into somebody that doesn't believe I don't exist. So this is a first. So let me put the link to the YouTube channel. Ken Hovind's video here. 1 second. It'll be in the video description so you can follow along. Link to Ken's video. I'll screen share. By the way, if you want to come in, the link to join is actually in the Great Bait community. So go find it. Come on in. Everybody's welcome. Except for Dragnot. He's been on too much today. No, he's asleep anyway. So anyways, let's see here. Do we have anybody watching? Oh, we do got some people watching. Hallelujah. Okay, I think you're going to like this. So let me see if I can present this and show you guys, and I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not making this up, guys. He actually believes that I do not exist, and we've been going back and forth about 2 hours, and all he wants is proof that I exist. And I'm like, well, you don't accept I exist? And he doesn't. He doesn't accept that I exist unless I give him proof, which is obviously I can't do because I'm just have limitations. I know I exist, but I can't prove to anybody else I exist. That's, just an epistemic limit we all have. I believe I exist. I know I exist. And I believe that you all exist, or most of you. But he doesn't. And so let me see if I can screen share this so I can show you guys what I'm talking about here. Screen share. Application window. There we go. All right. So I should be screening the other screen. And while I'm doing that, can you let me know if you guys actually can see Ken Hovind's video right now in the live chat? I'll wait for a second here for it to catch up. Yeah, it's not. Some people's like rum and Diet Coke night. Not even rum. You know what? Actually, I'm drinking green tea, and it's already cooled off. Green tea actually is supposed to help your metabolic rate. It helps to burn adipose and open up fat cells. And so I've been drinking water and green tea. I'm dead serious about losing these 20, 25 pounds between now and the end of the year. So I've got my mindset on it. And I figured I've already quit smoking. So if I quit smoking, I can definitely lose this weight. But I like food. But what are you going to do? I know I got to drop the weight. Because if I don't do it now, it's going to be a lot harder, next year. Because next year I'm turning 48, and every year you're older, it's harder to lose weight. Let's be realistic here. So Mike, Jay, you want to come in? Thalo, you want to come in? Go get the link from the Great Debate community and come on in. But can you guys? Okay, you guys can see this. So let me blow this up a little bit. Let me actually refresh this because there's been more on here. Okay, so it's about, if we're on the top comments, is this 30 likes? So I don't play your video, Kent. He's got 30 likes here, so that's about the second top comment. This one would be higher on your screen. No, I put the join link in the Great Debate community. By the way, I'm not doing this in OBS, so I'm not recording the stream chat. To join Google Hangouts, yeah, I see it right here. The web page, not web page, but the G+ page. So, shoot. 1 second here. Oh yeah, I can kind of see it. Well, I can see. I'm not showing the right page. Hang on 1 second. Let me stop presenting. And by the way, just to show you that I'm not exaggerating here, Is my camera going to come on? This is actually green tea. See, I'm not lying. See, it's my little tea bag. So, yeah. By the way, I trimmed my beard. It's a little shorter than usual. But yeah, so here you go. Okay, so let me see if I can share that again. I want you know what? I'm just going to share the entire screen. Then I'll bring this over, I guess. Okay, so present. Okay. Oh yeah, that works. Okay, so here the last thing you said was, I want you to prove you exist. Hang on, that's not the last thing I said. Let me go back. Let me blow this up so you guys can actually read this. Boom. 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 Is that big enough? Oop, too big. Too big. I've never heard that before, unfortunately. On down here. Scrolling. There's like 300 comments. We'll just go work our way backwards. It's easier. So I'll give you a play-by-play, but I'll do it backwards. Okay, so you see, Westcott Downs. You're a bad example because you're doing the same thing that you accuse YECs of doing. So I guess it's a natural thing to avoid being caught in a loaded question. Well, here's the thing. My very first question to them was basically, can you give us any evidence for young Earth creationism? Science. And Robert here had asked me, well, prove to me you exist. I'm like, well, I can't prove you exist. I believe I exist. I know I exist. I believe you exist. So do you accept that I exist? And if you accept that I exist, let's just move on. And I answered your question, so you're obligated to answer my question next. Westcott Downs is like, oh, you need to provide all the evidence for evolution. No, I already answered one of your questions. I answered Robert's question. I answered it very distinctly on how I believe that I am unable to give somebody proof that I exist, philosophically speaking, right? Because I accept axiomatically that everybody exists. I can't solve hard solipsism. So I answered their question directly, and I asked this question over and over and over again just to ask them, can you give me some evidence for young Earth creationism? Nothing. Neither one of them in 300 comments has been able to give me a shred of evidence for young Earth creationism. And let me point out that I'm not making up here, right here. I say you don't exist until you give me proof you exist. Get it? So this guy does not accept that I exist until I give him proof, which I cannot do. Ergo, he doesn't accept that anybody exists because nobody can give him proof that they exist. He is by definition a solipsist. Am I wrong in this? Am I reading too much into this? I mean, he doesn't accept that I exist or anybody else does because nobody else can give him proof. He's the only person that thinks he exists. Isn't that the cardinal definition, the canonical definition of what a solipsist is? So, you know what? I need to look at my live feed here. You guys haven't answered the question yet. So, Tyler, EO, come on in. So let me go through this some more. Oh, I can't do that. Damn it. Let me see if I can do this so I can actually read my live feed as I'm going through this. I think I can. Hey, Scuba Steve. Scuba Steve's kind of new to the GDC. Welcome to Scuba Steve. He's an ex-Navy. Aren't his responses proof that you exist? That's a good question, Scuba Steve. I actually said to him, well, if I don't exist, then wouldn't you be kind of delusional because you're responding to somebody who doesn't exist? That's kind of delusional, is it not? I mean, he's talking to somebody he doesn't believe exists. Isn't kind of that's the definition of delusional, talking to invisible people or people that don't exist? I mean, tell him to ask his God if you exist. Okay, that's a good question. So let's see. Oh, by the way, let me go way back here because I want you guys to see what started this. I was going to go work my way backwards, but maybe it's best I start from the beginning. Basically, Spud Nova, who's really cool, wanted to have a hangout with Robert Shilling, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I wouldn't mind getting in on that. And Pesky Downs, which is Westcott Downs, jumped in, and he said, quote, I am already educated in evolution. And remember, this guy did not know what DNA stood for. Did not know. This guy did not know what a gene was, right? I had made a video for Underground Creationist #4 explaining to this guy all the mistakes he was made. This was the video so bad that Fiona was even banging her head on the desk. Well, okay, I cut that in there, but still, she was banging her head on the desk. So, so he says, the first thing he says was, we can chat, but I'm going to use your level of skepticism to start a conversation. I want you to prove you exist. Okay. And I say, I can't, nor do I believe I can. I'm foundationalist. Okay. So I addressed his question. I addressed with him, I cannot give him what he wants because I am being honest and I cannot prove to him that I exist. I take it axiomatically. Fair enough. So I say, is it my turn now? I want to show you a single solitary. So I want you to show a single solitary scientific claim made by a younger creationist that are backed by actual science that supports evidence for a young Earth. Okay, that's a pretty fair question. Anybody wants evidence for evolution? Come on in my hangout. We'll give you all the evidence you could ever want. Between me and the people that actually understand evolutionary biology really well, it's a no-brainer, right? So we do that all the time. Anybody can come in. Can somebody actually go over there and tell them I'm not I haven't left. I'm actually told them I'm actually going to go on air. So can somebody pop over there? Would somebody do that for me? And tell them I'm actually live. You can put the link to them too. I didn't want to put the link because Kent filters a bunch of stuff, and I didn't want that account blocked. So I didn't know if putting a link on it was going to block it or not. Frank! Oh, here. Talk about solipsism, and Frank shows up. Go.
I'm worse than a solipsist. I'm a complete skeptic.
You're like Peronian skeptic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need somebody to go over there and let them know that I haven't forgot about him. Can somebody do that for me? Would they be so kind? I need somebody to go to that video and yeah, I need somebody to go on that video and tell them they haven't, I'm not done talking to them, but I am on air now. So
I'm just here to stop you from being too mean, Steve.
I'm being nice. No,
I know.
No, I'm sober. I'm being nice. This is all happy, love. So anyways, so I asked him that question. And he says, I can't because regardless of what I say, you'll say it's not true because of your worldview. Seems like we're a bit stuck here. Now, if you haven't noticed up to this point, I have not given him my worldview. He has no idea in the world what my worldview is. Hell, I don't know if I've even formulated a well thought out worldview. Right? I mean, I think I kind of have. I'm not a true naturalist. I'm not an ontological naturalist. I'm not a metaphysical naturalist. I'm a methodological naturalist. I'm a skeptic, I guess, but not skepticism. I'm a secularist, but as far as worldviews, I think it's vague. I mean, like, Frank, if I asked you what's your worldview, what would you answer? I mean, can you give me a definitive answer?
I don't have one. I'm a skeptic.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people don't. A lot of people say that. I hear that a lot. Oh, I don't have a worldview. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that everybody does have a worldview, but they may not be able to express it because your worldview is your theory of the world, right?
Yeah, I don't have a systematic philosophy. But like, I'm sure I have a worldview, but like, it depends on how you're defining the term. Strictly speaking, it doesn't make sense to speak.
It's a little more ad hoc for you, right? Which is not a bad thing. The link to get in is at the Great Debate. I can't really flip back and forth. I'm doing weird things right now in my videos. So Drag wants the invite. It's on the Great Debate community page. It's right there. Because I'm logged into 2 different accounts to do it this way. Okay, so actually, you know what? I can invite him directly. How about I just do that? That's smart. Dragnaut, I'm giving you the link. Anybody else want the link while I'm doing this? Directly? CRISPR, EO. Well, I'll give it to you guys anyways, just in case. Okay, so anyways, I tell him, I say, how do you know what my worldview is? Here, this is the let me give me the recap here, right? Oh, Mike, you want it too? Okay. I love you guys.
Just stop Steve on his little thing. Don't let him do his.
All right, so here we go. I just my recap. I said, look, you asked me a question, which was kind of a statement, but I gave him a direct and honest answer. I can't prove to him. I don't think anybody can. Would you guys agree or disagree on that?
I mean, I don't agree, but I don't disagree.
Philosophically speaking,
I have no idea if it's possible to prove it.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. You're so far on the left on you need to come up with a whole new theory because you're in a class of your own. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing, Frank. It's not a bad thing. It's just different. Okay, so number 2, I ask you a question, you dodge it like it was an arrow to your head. One thing I pointed out, he predicted that young creationists cannot answer this question, and when they do try to answer it, they fail miserably. Then he tries to use sophistry on the question he asked me, with my answer being quite in line with philosophy, science, and foundationalism, that I can't prove to him that I exist. And then he tries to tell me what my worldview is, rather than asking me what my worldview happens to be. And I said, my worldview doesn't blind me to reality. Present me evidence, and I adjust my beliefs accordingly. That's what, well, it's more coherentist does, but a foundationalist would be would do the same thing. We all adjust our beliefs with data incoming. Paul says, for some reason, late night hangouts are the most delicious. It is true. We do find some of the dumber people at night. Maybe they just come out. I don't know. So, anyways, then I say he goes on a tangent trying to relate my answer to Descartes' automata. Which has absolutely no relevancy to the question I posed to him. Basically, he thinks I'm just an automaton, that I'm just a machine. Okay? But then I asked him, I go on and ask him, look, if I'm just a machine, why are you responding to me? I mean, don't you think that if he doesn't believe I exist, why is he responding to me? Isn't that kind of delusional? But anyways, let's scroll up. I'm going to keep asking the same question. What question? I even ask a simple true and false. Do I, what was my question right here? I believe I exist and you believe I exist. I say it's true. And you say, all you had to do is say it's true or it's false. He couldn't do that. This is the level of dumb fuckery this guy is at. He couldn't even tell me if that statement was true or not. And if anybody else asks me that, I can tell them, Frank, I believe you exist. EO, not so sure of, but I believe you exist. Frank.
I might believe I exist.
You might. God, they tell me that. I sit on the fence. What, EO?
Cogito ergo sum.
Kurgo, yeah. Well, actually, I think that's kind of flawed in some ways, but
you ever hear of the myth of the given?
The myth of the given?
Yeah, it's a.
Refresh
I don't
my memory.
understand it either.
Yeah, you got to refresh my memory.
Can I just address for a second?
Your senses could be.
Sorry, Frank. Go ahead.
There's a gap between. I'm not going to go into it because I don't understand it well enough to articulate it.
Yeah, if you don't understand, then I know I won't. So he says you're not a skeptic, which I never said I really was. I mean, I'm a skeptical, but a skepticism is a really kind of a branch into itself of non-theism. But you're a denier. Denier of what? What am I denying? He hasn't given me anything to deny yet. I keep asking for evidence. Again, show me evidence of a young Earth. What is wrong with asking for evidence? He just will not answer this question. I mean, it's just this. So I finally tell him, look, if you cannot answer, man up and say so. He's clearly too stupid to even understand the most rudimentary level of questions of just, do you believe I exist? He finally answers it at the end. I admit he finally answers that question. He says, I don't believe you exist if you prove to me you exist, which is something I can't do. What level of dumb fuckery have we reached with these people anymore? Just when you think they can't get any dumber, they get dumber.
What does he say at the end? You said
he says, well, he says, I'd say you don't exist until you give me proof you exist.
I've got to say, Steve, I have never once thought people couldn't get any dumber.
I think he's just trying to play. I think he's trying to, like, you know how there's like the atheist view, like you know, what is it? It's a quote from Hitchens. That which can be asserted without evidence may be dismissed without evidence.
Yeah. So
maybe he's just trying to apply that to you.
No, because I've not given. I've finally said, look, I believe I exist, right? And he actually even puts in here, oh, you made a claim. You need to prove that I exist. He puts that
part of the game. I've had a lot of exchanges with the Big Shill there, and part of his little game, he will bait you into rage quitting or losing your temper.
Who? Westcott?
No, Shilling.
Oh, you ran into this guy before?
Oh, I've had lots of exchanges with this piece of shit.
I don't recognize the name. The icon looks kind of familiar, though. But I think you're right. I mean, this guy loves to play games. He has never
ever once answered a question. He has never provided a shred of evidence. He plays games with you.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that caught this. Then I am so glad I'm not the only one that caught this.
I don't like to label people as trolls, but this guy is a troll.
Is he worthy of the fruit on the ground, the creationist number 6 that I'm giving him?
No, he's not.
I think he is, because if you're saying what you're saying is true, he's a troll. What the definition of a fruit on the ground, the creationist that I use, is somebody who's unwilling to go into a hangout, unwilling to answer questions, and basically is a complete dipshit. I think he meets all those conditions. I mean, he's not as funny as Westcott Downs. Westcott Downs was just goddamn dumb. I mean, he didn't know what DNA stood for, claiming he understood evolutionary biology. By the way, hey Oz, welcome.
This guy likes to provoke people, and then after he provokes you,
hello,
then he'll scream about how atheists are unhinged and that we're.
I'm laughing at him. I am thoroughly laughing at him. The level of dumb fuckery this guy has is amazing. But I agree with you. Said he can't answer questions, but he says right here, prove you exist. You can't just say it without actual proof. You made a truth claim. I'll back it up.
I mean, like, the way I would counter that would just by noting that he used the word "you," and so he's granting you that you exist by virtue of talking to you at all.
Well, and that's right. It's implied. It's implied. It's definitely implied.
It's one thing. It's one thing that he's asking to prove that you know that you exist, because the claim "I exist" and the claim "I know that I exist" are two different claims. But like, he should be allowed to use that which you. I don't know. Like this is.
Well, I could make both claims, but I have an epistemic limit. I can't show you what I know. We have an epistemic boundary. I mean, again, he unless he's claiming he's found a way to solve this hard solipsism crap. But you're right. He did implicitly grant me my existence by using you, pronoun you, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, granting can be temporary.
Yes.
So it's like, but yeah, he has.
It could be for arguendo.
I mean, again, like, that's not the best route to take, because like the counter to that would be that somebody can grant something just for the sake of conversation. Like, you can't talk with somebody without referring to them, right? And so
after that conversation, you grant they exist.
Yeah, but like, you don't have. Like,
I think you're right.
You can grant something temporarily. Like, it's like, I let you assume that. Like, I'll basically letting you speak up until you can prove that from within your own view it makes sense to make that claim, in a non-arbitrary way.
When did solipsism get so popular? That's what I don't understand, man.
I didn't know it was. This is the first I've seen it.
Wait,
am I just out of the loop?
In lots of ways, Steve.
How can solipsism be popular?
I don't think he's a solipsist. I think he's just.
Well, Christopher made a really good point.
Certainly, if only one person likes it can't be considered popular, can it?
Yeah, it's not popular if it's only one person, right?
Oh, no. I think you see solipsistic behavior from lots of these people in lots of ways.
Well, there's only one of them, though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's only one of them. So ergo, it's not popular.
The only one. That guy's the only one who exists.
Well, he thinks he is. I don't think he's the only person that exists. I'm not a solipsist. Although I tell you what, I'm not going to lie. Speaking, I can see the appeal to solipsism sometimes, because maybe it's easier to accept that there's not so many dumb fucks in the world and just think to yourself, maybe I'm just the only person. I could get that. I can get behind that, right? Not big of a jump, but
yeah, but then you're so crazy that you came up with people like Neff and, well, this guy.
Would that make me like mental if I came up with people like them?
No, they curse us all.
I think there would just be a counterbalance to normality of some sort. I mean, if everyone was normal, then what would be normality?
What?
Well, think
about it. If everybody is normal, what would be normality? You have to have some kind of dichotomy, or at least a spectrum.
I don't think
the statistical average would. It still works.
See, I don't think that the
still makes sense if everyone is the same.
I don't think that the Incredibles logic works with that. Right? It really only works with the odd cases, not the normal ones. But
what I'm saying is, if you don't have a spectrum of sorts, if everybody was just actually completely identical, then
everybody would be completely identical, which is what normal.
Go back.
I mean, like, I guess you could argue that, like, if without anyone who's abnormal, you won't even recognize the normality. So it's sort of like
it's a trivial thing of normality, I guess.
In some sense, so you don't even think to measure it. Like, in that sense, I guess it works out. But like, then, of course, like, we humans are able to talk about, like, whether, you know, we can ask the question whether or not something exists, and being is pretty universal. I don't think there's anything which exists which doesn't exist. So,
are you a Platonist now or something?
No, I mean, like, no. How did you get that? Like,
I don't know, because I mean, it's like, well, everything exists, even if it doesn't exist.
No, I mean, like, being is. I mean, it's weird when you really try to ask metaphysical questions, like, what is being? What does it mean to be? Are there non-existent
what is
objects?
actuality? How does God do an actuality? Yeah, that stuff just bores me.
I don't even know what
we channeling Trey now.
Yeah, that's Trey. Yeah, that's Trey Jadlow shit. No, I mean, there's a real thing. It's called what is it? Thomism, and it's Thomism. It's all about potentialities and actualities, and trade is
the scholastic
out like he understands it. I'm like,
which is I can explain. Yeah, Thomism is a variation of scholasticism. You know, it comes from Thomas Aquinas, which in turn is a sort of middle ground in some sense. It's later on, but you can think of it as like influenced by both Aristotle's views and Plato's, or the Neoplatonists, but Plato as well.
Isn't it like between Platonism and nominalism or something?
Well, it's more like Platonism and it's not really between per se. I mean, like in a sense, yes, Thomism specifically.
No matter what, Trey doesn't understand this shit, right?
That's why I don't do philosophy.
Yeah, it sucks. I agree. I mean, I find it interesting, but when you get into that much nuances,
the facts and the evidence. That's
No, I like philosophy. I don't like the nuances when you get bogged down.
I don't like the nuances of quantum mechanics.
See, I think those are fun though. I mean,
so there you go. Insult like philosophy.
I like philosophy, except when it's hard.
But this, I
like science.
I know my limits in philosophy. When you start talking about like universals and you start talking about phenomena, was it numinums versus phenomenons versus
phenomena. Yeah,
I completely get lost. I don't. I got to explain to me a million times. I still don't get it.
This should hear the I exist, prove you exist, you don't exist. I don't get it. It's silly to me.
Well, this isn't real philosophy. These guys are just morons.
Well, yeah. I mean, consider the source. I mean, the people that Kent Hovind attracts to his website or his channel. I mean, you've read some of these posts. I mean,
Nicola says, Robert Shilling, here's the problem. Steve is not applying global skepticism because I'm not a global skeptic. The only person donating that role is you, which he is. So instead of assuming the positions of others, why not ask what their positions are and why not hold and why they hold them? That's a fair thing. Yes, it's far more productive and makes you look less like an idiot. Absolutely. I tried to explain to him that before. Ask me what my positions are. Don't assume.
And true to Rob's style, his MO, he's just going to shrug it off and make an excuse not to do it.
Well, see, I think he's a perfect candidate for fruit on the ground creationist.
Have you guys spoken to this guy before outside of this particular?
Mike has. I have never ran across him before. But usually my fruit on the ground creationist, I try to make an actual video, like I did with Westcott, but I'm lazy. And this was actually piquing my interest because I was like, shit, this guy really doesn't think I exist.
I've challenged him several times to a debate, and he just won't. He wants to do it on his channel. I don't trust him. I want to do it on neutral ground. He won't do it. So.
Well, he said he would talk to Spud Nova on Skype, and I told Spud Nova, I mean, you're just wasting your time. This guy's a fucking vegetable.
Well, he doesn't want it. Of course, you can't record. I mean, at least I don't know of any way that you can record a conversation on Skype. So he wants to where there's, he can back out of something, and it won't be live or recorded, or.
Well, you can record Skype, it's just a little more difficult.
Oh. Yeah, he doesn't want it on record. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, wouldn't OBS in a way let you do that?
Yeah, you can do it through OBS too. Sure. Or XSplit. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted you guys to see that these young Earth creationists on Kent's page, they're just so not worth our times. I want the young Earth creationism people that have something of interest to talk about. Bring it on. I challenge them.
Have arguments. Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, exactly. But where are they, Oz?
Don't ask me these questions. I don't know.
They're
a conversation between me and them would work out with it, because I actually am a global skeptic. So it's
I know, Steve, I know that you've had young Earth creationists that are actually, in quotes, have arguments. But do creationists really have young Earth creationists, do they really have an argument? I mean,
you want my honest opinion? No.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They have no argument whatsoever. Now, if you want to use the general thing, well, they're arguing something. Yeah, the general case, but do they really have any evidence? No, zero. If you don't have any evidence, then how can you have an argument?
Philosophy.
Right, so, yeah.
Philosophy.
Well, the thing is, isn't there evidence? Hold on, isn't there evidence existent? Like the planet is there evidence in their minds?
Of what, existence?
No, of like creationism. Like that's how they substantiate their view: is the planet is here, therefore God.
That's kind of along the lines of natural theism, but no, I asked for scientific evidence. My question was give me scientific evidence. Give me something that shows in science the age of the Earth is young, because I've never seen any. Not a shred, not one, nothing.
Well,
okay, I understand what you're saying now.
Now Westcott, I've been exchanging blows with Westcott for a couple of years now, and he used to argue.
Oh, where'd he go?
Maybe like,
did we lose him?
Yeah, I think so. Well, me and Mike actually go way back with Westcott, several years, so not anything new.
I love that I never get dropped, even though I have the worst internet I know of.
If you're on a phone, it's worse.
Oh, is that what happened?
Google, yeah, Google does not like phones. They call them phone quakes. It just drops you out.
Steve, you still haven't given me that stuff about the statistics.
What am I supposed to give you? Refresh my memory. I've got 1,000 things going on. So if I forget things, I'm sorry.
Well,
and by the way, I haven't responded to a lot of people either, because I don't see their message, or I note it, but I'm busy, and then I don't get back to them. So if I haven't been very responsive to people, it's nothing personal. I
would have been in here earlier. I just wanted
I was just like the statistic, the like information theory based and statistical arguments against evolution. I'm interested in, but I don't really understand.
You have things like Hoyle using post hoc analysis. The best person to probably go to that for would probably be Rational Mind.
Rational Mind.
I mean, I could explain it in a nutshell. I just can't show you the numbers. But in a nutshell, what Hoyle et al. Do is they take the probability of a single instance rather than multiple trials.
Yeah, I know that one, right? So like you have what I want to be able to do is like have a nutshell explanation for anybody. Well, I want to be able to do the numbers too. So I want to be able to, in conversation with a creationist of some sort, people to who's reasonable, like who's maybe read a book or something, really. But
well, clearly they've read a book.
Yeah, one that we know of.
No, I mean,
no, you know what? Not even.
I mean,
they have not.
If they've read
like a lot of them haven't read the Bible
or something.
That's a good.
I want to be able to outline like, the mathematics of why it's not a valid counter to evolution, right? So I know that like you have like the infinite monkey theorem or whatever, which the more trials you have.
And I don't believe that theorem. I don't accept that theorem. To be honest with you, I think it'd be normalized. And like for example, the same principle applies to pi. People can say, okay, look, pi is an infinite decimal. And EO is going to maybe jump on me for this, but let me try to get it out first, EO. That if it's a normal number, it doesn't have the entire works of Shakespeare in it, right? So there are, even though you have an infinite decimal expansion, that does not necessarily mean that it encodes for every possible combination. And I don't think that even if you had an infinite amount of monkeys doing an infinite amount of typing, it would actually type out the incomplete works of Shakespeare, because I think it'd be normal. EO, you want to add to that? What do you think? Because you're the mathematics guy.
No, that's fine. In fact, there's no. The only thing I would say, are you referring to the argument that you couldn't have a sequence of events, which by the way, Dawkins addresses that in one of his books. But as far as pi is concerned, as you know, there cannot be any pattern in a transcendental expansion, in the expansion, decimal expansion of a transcendental number.
That's the whole thing argument for pi. That's why pi is probably normal, and that's why pi doesn't contain encoding for like the entire work of Shakespeare. So I guess I got that pretty well right. So.
So you already made this video.
What video?
The Fruit on the Ground 4.
Oh no, this is it. This is the video.
Okay.
I'm lazy. People don't watch my videos that I create that much. They get about 2,000 views. They watch the Hangouts more. I don't know. Whatever.
When there are people,
well, most of the people that know of you are probably know of you for Hangouts. So
yeah.
But
yeah
when there are people on the fence, when I come across people that are on the fence that are in Oven's channel, I refer them. You know, when Westcott is in the thread, I refer them to your videos.
Oh, people know Westcott because of that video. They definitely the dumb fucker he had in that video was just amazing. It was beyond the pale. He's never lived that down. Oh, by the way, I got a little announcement. Guess who's going to put a shout out to the Great Debate Community tomorrow in a video? The initials are TLD. Anybody want to guess?
Killdeer.
No.
The Living Dinosaur.
The Living Dinosaur, yes. He really likes the Great Debate Community. He thought we were old type YouTubers going back to the old days when people had conversations and were rational and articulate and intelligent. He didn't like the newer Atheism Plus. He didn't like the way, hardcore atheism was being promoted. He's obviously an atheist, but he wanted more of the dialogue, and he saw a lot of people going to this vitriolic type approach, like the Down Corners and the Outbounds, those guys kind of approach, and I don't think he liked it. And now that he's back, he's happy to find a group like this that seems to be a very similar mindset, that has very intelligent people coming in to have a conversation. And he wants to put a shout out, and he also wants to join us in a couple weeks to have a longer hangout. Very nice guy, really nice guy, and he's a PhD in biochemistry.
He's been gone for a while. I really enjoy his videos.
Great videos. Holy Hallucinations. Wonderful.
Oh yeah.
So I thought I'd point that out because that'll send some people our way, hopefully.
Steve, now that you've done so many of these debates with Hovind, do you have reflections on these? Like, I understand part of it was growing your channel, but do you have a reflection on all of these debates that Hovind had?
I do, actually. As a matter of fact, this was a question that I wanted to probably, if I call the Atheist Experience, to ask them. Do they think that is beneficial to have debates with somebody like Ken Hovind? What is the pros and the cons that we get out of it? Not just, we obviously grow our channels, but are there more people learning that young Earth creationism is wrong, that Kent's a fraud, as opposed to people that are being drawn to him? Now, my argument is that the people that believe in Kent's bullshit have believed it for quite some time. I don't see too many new followers going his way, and I see a lot more leaving. So if the output is greater than the input, the people leaving is greater than the people going in, I think they're beneficial. How do you guys think about it?
Can I put my 2 cents in on that?
Yeah, because you were there at one time.
What it's channels like yours, The Amazing Atheist, other atheists and science channels like Living Dinosaur, not just one channel that changed my mind, that made me see, that taught me to critically think on the facts as far as evolution. Is this making sense?
Yeah. Well, by the way, in 2 weeks, you're invited. I want you to draw. If we get the the Living Dinosaur to come in, which he wants to, I want you to be there, Mike, because I know you're a pretty fan of his channel. Is that cool?
Yeah. So what day is it?
It'll be on a Tuesday, but it may be the second. Maybe 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. So I don't have a set date yet.
Okay, as long as it doesn't conflict with obligation. And
But I just wanted to tell you, you definitely have a seat at the table there.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I'd enjoy that.
But yeah, like I said, I do have some reflections on it. I think that Bill Lolo's debate against Hovind was epic. I think he brought it full on. He slammed it in Hovind's face, made Hovind look like a complete fucking moron. I think KC did a brilliant job. I think that KC maybe let him gish gallop more than he should have, but it's hard not to, because I mean that's what Hovind does, and I don't think I could have done any better. I really don't. But I think it was worth it. I think that people are going to watch these things for a long time to come. If we continue with them, if Kent still wants to do them, I'm game. I know Herman Mays wants to do a debate with him. He's a PhD in evolutionary biology, and I was considering it as well. I don't know yet. I know they want me to. Her secretary wants me to debate Kent more than I already have in the past. And I thought if I did, I have a really cool way to go about it, But
my only thing with debating Kent is we already know he's somewhat dishonest. He's been convicted for that. No, like
he passed someone a long time ago.
He's been convicted for that now. So why? I feel like talking to him is kind of, I don't know. It's like talking to a wall.
Yeah, but it's for the benefit of other people, right? Oh, by the way, Satin and Satire, welcome. Chat. We're glad to keep you awake while you're driving home. Don't fall asleep.
Before that, can I just add one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
As far as debating people like Kent, you're not going to convince everybody. It's for the people you do convince. Stuff like debates like that, it convinced me. And if it steers people away from poison like young Earth creationism, then we're doing something right. It's not a complete.
I have to agree with you. But if you know what, hang on, shoot. Most is when we lose somebody like Wyatt Meekus, right? Do you guys know that Wyatt is actually writing a ebook? Yeah, ebook. It has a foreword by Theodore Valentine. Right, the Lies of the Devil guy, the guy that saw Satan's face in a book, sitting on Sam's Club, sitting on a desk at Sam's Club, on jet fighters. He saw Satan's face in it, and when you asked him, "How do you know what Satan looks like?" "Oh, I'll make a video about you, Steve, and spend 6 minutes explaining to you that you're going to hell." How does that address my question?
Because the answer to your question is stop asking me questions.
But is it an inappropriate question, Oz? If you said, "Hey, look, here, I see Satan in this photograph," and I'd be like, "Well, how the fuck do you know what Satan looks like?" It's not even described in the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. Is there any description of Satan besides an angel of light?
Some people sometimes they refer to it as the old serpent, but that's kind of, I'm not sure. But beyond that, no, not that I know.
This guy Theodore's he's a crackpot. But anyways, Wyatt is actually doing an ebook with him, and on his page, all his links are to AIG, ICR, Creation.com, all these ministries. It's just disgusting.
Almost like he's not thinking for himself.
You mean he fell into a cult and can't get out?
So, Steve, can I if I can give my 2 cents? I've been watching a lot of these debates. I was discouraged, Steve, because I always believed that if Hovind was exposed, for example, he conflated dark matter and dark energy twice in case he addressed that again, right? Or when you and Ned pointed out that he has no credentials. When you hear the reaction of his fans, it's like, I hate to draw the analogy with boxing, but if you watch your favorite fighter get beaten up over and over again, eventually he'll start to lose fans. But that doesn't seem to be happening with Hovind. Like, people can see the mistakes he's making, the factual errors, and he still seems to retain his fan base. And so I have to confess to you, I'm a little bit discouraged.
I think the fan base is going down, but not the rate I would expect. But he doesn't have the following he used to have, but it's still there.
On that, I would say it kind of feeds into the victim complex thing that you see a lot.
Why you guys got to be nice.
but okay. I am surprised, and I will admit this. I am very surprised because I actually sent this clip out. I put a 3-minute clip on a unlisted link I sent, and I was talking to Logic in a tweet message, and I sent it to him and some other people because it was relative to what we were talking about. And I am surprised. And I told him he could use it. I am surprised that nobody has taken that portion. Well, I had got him to explicitly state that nothing he taught is credentialed or would go on a transcript, and therefore he should not consider himself to be a teacher. He cannot consider himself to be a teacher. I think that was a huge, huge brownie point. Nobody's ran with that yet.
Huh. That is kind of strange.
What did you guys think? That's a big thing when Hovind himself says, yeah, because all these guys say, look, he's a teacher. He's taught for 15 years. He's a teacher. Okay, let me show you guys he doesn't have any credentials. He has 60 credits of a community college. So that's legit. He does have 60 credits of community college, but the rest are all unaccredited.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not ashamed of this. I have 59 and I dropped out.
Yeah, no, I mean it's all good. I don't care that he has 60. I care that he says he's a teacher because he's not. He never taught in any school system.
Did he say never to have been taught?
I'm sorry, what?
Did he claim never to have taught anything?
He says he taught math, physics, biology, and God knows what whatever. And I don't know how many other subjects in 15 years.
He has no credentials, so where did he teach?
In Baptist schools.
Yeah, that's Sunday school.
That's church.
Yeah, that's not a credential. He makes it sound like he's a credential.
Well, that's why I wanted to clarify. I'm like, look, did you ever have a coursework where you taught a class from 12 to 13 or 30 people in a situation where they would come every day, for a semester and get accreditation for it? No.
It's like when he calls himself doctor, which bullshit. It's not a doctor.
Well, he has a PhD. It's just not a legitimate one.
I think we're running into what he's doing is he's using terms that he can say, oh, well, I mean this, but he's using them in a way that he doesn't imply that to give himself authority.
First approach.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like he's not an honest person.
Big surprise. Coming to the shock of everybody, I'm right.
Yeah, well, that's the point. You have to think about everything he does from I don't care, I want to make money, and or Jesus point of view here with this.
Yeah, Thalo Blue says King Croc always calls him Mr. I don't even afford him that, to be honest with you. If you really have paid attention, I don't think I've ever called him Mr. I always call him Kent. See if I've even called Mr. to be honest with you.
If I ever got into a conversation with him, I'd just call him ex-inmate, whatever.
What would happen if you called him by his number?
Oh, that'd be great. I feel like that would be funny.
I'm sure he's got it memorized, right?
I'd start doing that, calling him by his number.
Don't do it.
How angry do you think he would get about that?
Who gives a shit?
Apologia said he's dropped all the credential stuff from his daily videos of late. That might be. He might be taking a little, respite from it. But he still uses those credentials to bolster his credibility when he has actually no credibility. And I think, Mike, as you pointed out, the guy didn't even know the difference between dark energy and dark matter. I mean,
I don't either, but I'm not claiming to know how the universe was formed. So.
Yeah, you're not claiming to debunk Einstein and all of cosmology, so we can afford you that, not knowing the difference, right? There's a difference.
Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say so. We're making different levels of claims, I guess.
Absolutely.
I thought the best line of every debate was Ned's, your inability to understand it doesn't make it false. I really thought he was on his heels I understand Ned was dominating the time, but I felt in the Ned debate, he was his most humble. I thought Ned really kept him.
Ned did a wonderful job, but I couldn't get it back on track because Ned was dominating the time, and I couldn't get it back to Kent. So that was my I'll take the hit for that. That was as a moderator, I didn't do a good job on that. But it was kind of hard not to because of the way they were having a discussion, right? And Kent kept asking him more questions, and it's kind of hard not to let the guy finish, a thought. So, and by the way, Deconverted Man, shout out to you in the live chat, my friend. It's been a while. Hey, Hunter Bailey, you too. By the way, Hunter Bailey, your boy Wyatt, you need to have a talk with him, man. He's losing it. I think he's entrenched himself. He started pulling away from Kent after, Theodore exposed Kent, but he's still on full on young Earth creationism, and I feel sorry for the kid. I just do.
Somebody needs to get that for the soundboard. Just you saying he's pulling out of Kent.
Didn't I say he's pulling away from Kent? Well, he was at his compound, so.
Damn it, I've got a fucking cold. Don't make me laugh.
Oh, the soundboards they have of me.
Might actually kill me.
Let's see. I kind of wish I would have caught the live chat in this particular hangout, but
you talking about this apologetics handbook? Is that the
Yes. Have you seen it?
Well, I'm looking at it right now. So click here for
apologetics handbook. Now I'm curious.
Well, first of all, where'd you find it at, Frank?
Well, it's I'm friends with my on Facebook, and there's like a free version or something.
Oh, okay. Well, you mean he's actually started writing it? I didn't really. I got a. I mean, I saw the link, but I couldn't open it or anything.
Oh well.
Could you open it?
3 chapters now. I don't want to share it or anything. Like I don't know if it's legal. So
yeah, no, it's fine. He sent it to me. I didn't find any links. I just found the page, but no, we can read it. Let's read it.
No, I don't know.
Send it to me. I'll send it to me. That takes away your liability.
Are you friends with Wyatt on Facebook?
Yes, I've known Wyatt longer than you have. He sent me his. This is how I know about it. He sent it to me directly.
Well, you can't. It's just. I'll send it to you on Facebook.
I have the link. Never mind. Fine, man. Frank, you're paranoid.
Look, I am paranoid. I'm a universal skeptic, Steve.
Yeah, you are a global skeptic. And by the way, Hunter,
the most paranoid you can really get. It's just that I'm kind of capable of acting semi-rational.
Hunter sends me messages, but it always comes up unknown. I don't know why.
It might be some weird thing ticked in his privacy settings somewhere.
What you guys don't really know about me is I'm the most paranoid person on this planet. I'm just so paranoid that I've hit normal.
Yeah, you're not paranoid. They're really out to get you. See, I see the table of contents. Chapter 1, what is apologetics? 2, what do we believe? And 3, approaches to apologetics. But I don't see anywhere to.
That's it.
Yeah, but I don't see any link to actually.
You should scroll down. There's only 19 pages on the.
There's nothing to scroll down. I don't see any links to actually look inside of it though.
Wait, let me. You don't see How do you?
I will show you what I'm. I'll show you what I'm seeing here. Paranoid motherfucker.
Steve, did you ever have a hangout with Wyatt after that time you exposed his pre-sup, where he literally had that deer in the headlights look when you couldn't answer you guys anymore? Do you remember that hangout?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I've had half a dozen with Wyatt. Matter of fact, Wyatt and King Crocodile got a debate. Wyatt got roll the fuck stomped. It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal.
You just click for secure download.
Oh, you actually have to download it?
It's not an actual download. It's just it's like a download.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
Oh, yeah, you are.
I'll take the hit for that. Okay. Fuck my life. All right, so let me move this over here so I can actually read the feed while I'm doing this. Fuck my life. I didn't catch it. It's late. What the fuck?
Don't worry, Steve. At least you're not a universal skeptic. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm heading there.
Don't come. It's a trap. It's worse than.
Go back. Okay, where did now I lost it? Damn it!
It's a bottomless pit, Steve.
I lost my download. God, I'm just having a hell of a time today. I'm doing like a Deep Hero Jones, man. Let me try this again here. All right, open there. I'll move this over here. By the way, is Drag still here? Did he come in? Left. All right, I found it. I got this. So let me present. Oh, he did leave. Present. See the application, White Minkus. Blaze of Hope Ministry.
So there's like no laws which are against doing this, Steve?
No.
The man isn't going to come in and crash the door.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, he might try.
He might try. Be my guest. Copyright might make us, but we're using it for fair use to critique it. But I don't. I'll skip the general part. Let's see here.
I don't know. YouTube might have some fun with you on that.
What's that?
YouTube might have some fun with you on that. I run a Let's Play channel, and we get hit with fair use all the time.
Yeah, well, Let's Play is different because a lot of the games are like Microsoft or PlayStation. They don't like you doing Let's Plays with those.
That's so stupid.
Like Mario Brothers. Oh, they'll shut you down in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah,
I think right now it's just I think all he's trying to do is an introduction to apologetics. I've read some apologetics.
Here's an introduction to apologetics. Just be full of shit.
My introduction, the apologetics can be interesting because it's related to like basically all areas of thought. So like, it's. I mean, like you've talked to people like General Han Solo. He's in a sense an apologist, like not like a. He does apologetics. He's not an apologist.
Yeah, no, he does apologetics.
So it's not like apologetics is inherently bad.
But presuppositional apologetics is inherently bad.
What?
I think presuppositional apologetics is inherently bad.
If I may,
my best example of a good precept is Jimmy Stevens. So it's like it's not.
He's good, but he's so not infallible. I mean, you can catch Jimmy, and what happens when you catch Jimmy is Jimmy goes right back to the beginning again.
He pretends you didn't, essentially.
See, I get nothing but hate from Jimmy Stevens.
Why?
Why?
I don't know. It's just immediately he's...
Has he just picked you out of the bunch?
I don't know. I'll ask her a question or I'll say something and he just comes in, just guns a-blazing and just like I caught him in a pissed off mood or something.
Is it just like, does that always happen or is it like...
It routinely happens.
Have you asked him why?
Yeah, and I don't really get a response for it.
Huh.
All right, so the only thing I can say on this one is he says countless false religions and cults have come into existence by this practice. Oh, the irony. The irony. I'm sorry, Ken Hovind is a cult leader. I'm sorry. He actually is. All right, so let's scroll. When is apologetics? You guys could read this. I'm just looking over. I just want to find anything dealing with younger creationism. I don't really care about the apologetics crap that much.
Well, on apologetics, it's like if something is true, do you even need apologetics?
Steve.
Well, yeah, no, I get the point of that. I think the same way. Why do you need apologetics if something's true? But apologetics also means being able to explain something and not necessarily defense of the faith.
You say that, but
it's providing a rational defense for a position. The position can be true, but you still need to explain it to people and show why it is true.
Yeah. You also need to defend it from like crazy people who are like think when you defend science, you are a science apologist. When you're defending
but apologists, in my view, at least from what I've seen, they don't ever offer evidence. It's always arguments. Whereas if you were arguing like, for example, I don't know, evolution, we don't do that. We're like, oh no, here's the proof. Here's how this functions. Here's how we know this. Here's how.
Well, science. Yeah, like when you're apologizing for things like evolution, you also have to keep it at like a level where people can understand. So like there's like two things that are going on. You're both doing the work of like what an act. You actually have to be familiar with what you're talking about, but at the same end, you have to present it in such a way that it's understandable, so that you can counter like you're you're defending the thing on like a public forum and whatnot. So I mean, like if you talk to Han Solo, for example, the longer you talk, the deeper the conversation can get, right? And you can get into like really crazy specific stuff. That's not going to happen in a live debate. That's not going to happen in most live discussion. I mean, like it can happen in live discussions like the GDC because that's just like the kind of environment we've developed. But like in a formal debate, you don't have the time for that unless the formal debate is like one of those specialized formal debates that only specialists listen to. Like,
Hey Frank, can you read this? Can you read this? Did you see this on the screen, guys?
Ray Comfort of Living Waters has attested to people.
This is something I find okay. This is like I said, I haven't read the whole thing, but this is definitely something that's completely dishonest.
Oh,
I'm gonna let you guys explain. I already know the argument.
This is an unfortunate.
Ray Comfort. Oh, I'm gonna let you explain it. Hang on, let me read it off. So Ray Comfort, we all know, is a con man. He has a test, and he asks people based on the questions. Questions based on the 10 Commandments to show that they are sinners. He says, have you ever told a lie, no matter how small? When they say yes, he asks, what do you call somebody who lies? They would answer, they would call them a liar. Now, what is the problem with that argument? Because
I would call him Ray Comfort.
Well, I mean, like, a liar is something that you do by habit. It's not something you simply are because you've. That's like saying, "Am I a guitar player?" Because I strung a guitar once.
Correct. There has to be some kind of pattern there.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you answered exactly how everybody who didn't make it into his movie answered.
Yeah, and they got cut out.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. That's exactly true. Wyatt doesn't seem to understand this. Because he doesn't want to understand it.
Also, the 10 Commandments isn't about lying. It's about bearing false witness, which is a criminal thing.
Yeah, against bearing false witness against your neighbor, saying that you saw them do something they didn't do.
Right.
Well, yeah, and there also, it's not thou shalt not kill, it's thou shalt not commit murder. You can kill anyone you want as long as they weren't a Jew at the time. That was fine.
Well, I think it was a little more limited.
I don't think you can walk up to the average Jew and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to kill you." I don't. But
no. Like, as long as they weren't.
It was murder. It was not. I mean, it wasn't justified killing. There are justified killings. The Bible doesn't say anything about that. It's outright murder.
Yeah, like you described it like, well, you can kill anyone who's not a Jew. That's not quite right. There are rules in the Old Testament. There are rules in the Old Testament about how you have to treat strangers right in the land. So it's not like you can look a stranger, we can kill him and steal all his stuff. No, you can't.
Strangers also have been Jews. There's a distinction between the people who are your neighbors, right, versus other Jews who weren't your neighbors, versus the non-Jews who lived among you, versus the non-Jews who were from wherever else. Right?
Yeah, this is why, like, on the next page, Moses marched out an army and wiped out 5 towns.
I didn't even click on that.
And killed everybody. That's how they justify these two things.
Hey, EO.
I would have to look at the text, and I'm willing to bet that there was some divine order or some such. And
he claimed.
EO, can you read this? Can you read this? Oh shit! I don't want to keep clicking this link. Okay, used, but Wyatt Minkus is mathematically inept. So why would he be using this as a potential argument? Let me get back to it. Can you read? Can you read what he wrote here? And what? Where does it go? Right here. Can you read this, EO? In relationship to the Trinity, look what he wrote.
The Bernard-Tarski paradox?
Yeah. Now, General has used this in his lines of argumentation before. You know what it is. I know what it is. A lot of people in live chat may know what it is. Long story short, it's basically it's a paradox where you can actually, by using manipulations, take something like a sphere, like a basketball, and make 2 out of it.
Right. You have to accept the axiom of choice, though. That's the important thing.
It's based on ZFC. You have to accept the axiom of choice. Right. But do you think that the guy that wrote this, Wyatt, knows what axiom of choice is?
I'll take the 5th on this one.
Yeah, no, I know Wyatt. He has no idea what the Bernard-Tarski is. He has no idea what ZFC theory, axioms are. I barely know what those are. There's so many axioms that I don't even know what the hell they are.
So
how do we go from being sad that Wyatt was?
But see, he puts this in there because it's technical, and a lot of people won't know what it is, and they're like, "Oh, well, this must be true because this is actual math, and this is in a pamphlet, and it looks impressive." It has nothing to do with the Trinity.
Therefore,
it's like
must be
calling
very well established and true.
So when I see Wyatt, I'm going to ask him about this. Hey, Wyatt, can you explain to me the Bernard-Tarski paradox? I guarantee it. I'm going to tell you right now, prediction is he's going to be like, no, I have no idea.
It's called being a Veronica.
It's called being a Veronica.
Legitimate question. How?
What?
I have a question. I'm just trying to phrase it really quick. How much of that do you think may have just been copy paste?
Steve, can you share Midnight? Can you present him?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't get ready. My bad.
What does present mean?
Yeah.
So that
Odds here, so I can
Steve,
tab
before you
out.
go on, you know, this book seems like it will be better than anything Edgar has ever written.
Okay, granted, I'm not going to deny that it's better than Edgar's so far. You know, we've got a ways to go. It's like
There are complete sentences, and it is intelligible English.
Yeah, it's not grammatically fucked up. So you know, it's better. All right. But okay, so here's where he starts talking about young creationism. By the way, though, this view teaches that the Earth is 6 to 10,000 years old, based upon genealogies. Oh, by the way, somebody asked if it's cut and paste. I don't know. I will later on. I'll take snippets out of here and I'll see. To give you an example,
Somebody was.
yeah. Thank you. We had a roommate here, and this guy, when I first moved in, was like, "Oh yeah, I'm really into the physics and science, and I have I think he said he had a PhD, but I was like, oh, okay, awesome." And he's like, "Yeah, I've invented anti-gravity devices and UFO propulsion stuff." Okay. He's like, "I have a published paper on anti-gravity." I'm like, "Oh, I really like to read that. I won't understand it, but I like to read it." I looked at that paper, which is 2 pages. It was, and I shit you not, 90% copied off Wikipedia.
Wait, hold on. Can you aren't those papers usually like maybe 10?
How do you determine whether something was copy pasted?
Because it was literally word for word from Wikipedia.
I mean, like, how do you, like, do you just go? Never mind.
Google search.
You copy and paste a single sentence that you randomly pick out in the paper, and
this was paragraphs.
Yeah, you put it into Google and you see what you get.
Because I was reading it, I'm like, there's no way he wrote this. It's not that complicated. It's pretty simplistic, actually, what's in there. But I'm like, this just isn't what he thinks it's saying, though, and he doesn't understand any of this stuff. So I did a search, found it literally came from Wikipedia.
I'm surprised he actually gave it to you. I mean, I was thinking.
Well, it's on the net. It's out there.
So basically, his introduction.
I'll send it to you right now. It's called. His name is Paul Price. He's something called Disc and Anti-Gravity.
So basically, the only thing that he didn't copy and paste directly from Wikipedia was the introduction.
I'll you know what? Let's go there. I'll show you. I can find it for you. Paul Price. Now he does have Asperger's. But,
I'm interested in reading this book when it's ready.
Let me give you this link and see if you guys think the same thing. So,
how did he get the pictures? Because I'm using Google Docs, but I can't get the picture aligned.
Steve, let me say hi to Midnight. We were just in a chat where MK had an anti-vaxxer spout for half an hour.
Oh, hey! Oh my God, that guy was a grim dude. Grim V's. Steve, I saw your one video you had with him. It was like 11 minutes or whatever. Oh, yeah. No, this paper shows it cures cancer. You told him you're a lunatic. I just had to take that out. Yeah,
that was really an old video.
I think there's a really old video of Grim having a chat with Hogtie Champ about something, and that's worth a watch because he just has a meltdown because Hogtie's just too polite to him.
Can you put that? Can you?
Well, see if I can find it. I can't remember whose channel it was on.
Well, I mean, you know, let's not get off track. But yeah, Grim V. Oh my God.
I found it. I will put it in the live feed, and then you're gonna have to like connect to download. But somebody look at this, and you tell me if that's not directly, pretty much out of yeah. And I'll share it with you guys in a second here.
Get duck.
I'm trying to connect.
Choose account. View your contacts. Why in the fuck?
Come on.
Okay,
well,
I guess view contacts.
You can read it without downloading it. It's just a little dark. I can link you the apologetic book, yes, in a second here. I will be deconvert man. I will in a minute.
You could just screen share it. I mean,
It says Paul Price, creation. Paul Price. Let me look. I can tell you. He's a young Earth creationist. One sec. No, different guy.
So, while y'all are looking stuff up on the topic of the anti-vaxxers, did y'all see that thing recently where one of them like tried to get the KKK on side?
No.
What?
Yeah, a leader of like a big group of anti-vaxxers out near Charleston like sent him a letter and was like, "Hey, we should work together to save the Caucasian race." I shit you not.
That's that's fuel for the conspiracy theorists.
Well, no, the best part, the KKK said no.
Oh God, they'd only be associated with anti-vaxxers.
They called it outlandish thinking in the report.
They're not that stupid.
Let me see if I can find this.
Sorry, I felt that bore before many people off.
Yeah, this is evidently incomplete. I don't think he's presenting it as complete though. So sorry, I've been reading through why.
No, he's still writing it.
So we shouldn't present it as like a complete thing. Like,
well, yeah.
Like so if it's copy pasted, it's not necessarily wrong because that could just be like an earlier draft kind of.
Oh, no, not this. We're talking about something else.
Oh, no, I was talking. Sorry, I was.
You're talking about Wyatt's thing.
Yeah. I'm like. What?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the article. I found this. What Paul had copied this from. The issue is that the space time. So I can find the. Yeah. God dang it! I can't find where he copied this from. I found it once. Oh, here it is. You can talk while I'm doing this.
I don't know what to talk about at this point.
Well, I mean, we could talk about. I don't know.
Thanks.
Someone would like to defend Wyatt that we could bring in here?
What'd you say?
We need a Wyatt apologist in here.
I keep missing what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind. Well, I wouldn't mind getting in here. Let's get a younger creationist. Yeah.
Do you mean Edgar? I'm kidding.
No.
Why did you sound frightened? You sound.
I can't take Edgar.
The way you said that was like no.
I can't take him anymore. He's just so
stupid.
Yeah, all he talks about is intelligence. You don't know the intelligence. It might as well just talk into a brick wall. I'm really trying to find this, and I can't find.
Guys, I think I found it. Sorry. Wyatt links to Saiten's thing, and I'm like, I'm answering it like as I suspect one ought to answer it, and I found a loop. It's just like.
Well, anyways, the paper that I showed you guys from Paul Price, I asked him simple questions, because it has things in here about metric tensor equations, and it has Einstein's field equations. He didn't know what a differential equation was. He didn't know what the derivative of x squared was. I'm like, you wrote a paper claiming that you developed anti-gravity. You included Einstein's field equations. You don't even know the difference between kinetic energy and potential energy. Do you not see a problem here?
Nope.
He didn't.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
He didn't, and I was like, "Oh my God, dude! Really? So you understand curvatures and metric equations, and yet I ask you a simple thing about a derivative, and you don't know? I don't think that it works that way." Back to this right here. So anything else? Older creationism. Senses of God. Fine-tuning arguments. Misconceptions of biblical passages.
So apparently there's riots everywhere again, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, somebody had tweeted this earlier, and I thought it was kind of funny because it's true. But they said 8 months into Trump's presidency, we are on the brink of nuclear war, and Nazis are running in the streets. I'm like, he ain't lying. Guy's got a point.
Wow,
Somebody pointed out a kind of sad
scary
to me earlier that white supremacist that wanted to kill a bunch of brown people and ran them with his car in Charleston only killed a white person.
Oh, he was a Nazi.
Well, yeah, he was a Nazi. She wasn't. Yeah. So
gravitational propulsion in a field membrane, a new propulsion methodology.
It's complete crap.
Yeah, I know.
I went over with Rumpus one time, who's an actual physicist, and we were like, "Oh fuck," because I mean, half of it in there is legit, but it's copied and paste, and we recognize the portions that were legit and not legit. And yeah, it's just one. It's not an actual paper.
Is he like copy pasting just enough for it to look legit? And stuff.
Yeah, well, there was whole paragraphs that was copied and pasted too.
Wow, so dishonest.
Yeah. But again, how do you write a paper on field equations and don't know what a differential is or know what derivative of x squared? EO, is it possible to know matrix theory and tensors and understand Einstein's field equation and not understand what a derivative is?
No, and let me help Edgar and everyone out there for Steve's little quiz. It's 2x, people. Can you at least memorize that?
Yeah, 2x.
You know what's funny?
What's the derivative of x squared? That's the only calculus problem I know. It's 2x.
Steve, I just want to help those. For those you have the shame to answer time, it's 2x. Memorize it, you idiots.
Well, here, you know what's funny is all they would have to do is memorize that, and I'd be like, wow. But the problem is the next question I'd be like, okay, what's the derivative of x squared? Done. They're lost.
What?
Well, the derivative of x squared is 2x, but the next question would be like, okay, because they memorized that by rote memorization. Okay, what's the derivative of x cubed?
3x.
No, 3x squared.
Oh, 3x squared, yeah.
Damn it, I wanted to answer it.
But now he just gave him the answer, so I can't answer that question now. So what's the derivative of 3x squared?
What was it again?
3x squared, what's the derivative?
6x.
Very good. And the derivative of 6x?
Just 6.
Derivative of 6?
0.
There you go.
Damn it!
Here's a quick question for anyone who's that calculus. What's the millionth derivative of y equals e to the x? Anyone?
What'd you say?
What's the millionth derivative of y equals e to the x?
Well, I know the derivative of e is e.
Yeah,
but that's all I know.
Any derivative of e is going to be e to the x. So the derivative of e to the x is e to the x.
Yep. So
e to the x, e to the x plus c.
So Frank, if e to the x is its own derivative, what would the millionth derivative be then? It must be
e
to the x. There you go.
Yeah.
E to the x I sine pi. So what do you get? What do you get?
Guys, I'm learning all this stuff.
What do you get when you take e to the I theta equals cosine theta?
You get
plus I sine theta, and you put in pi for theta. What do you get?
I haven't gotten that far, so
you get Euler's identity.
-1. Cos theta, cos of pi is -1.
Yeah, because one of it goes -1, the other term goes to 0.
Right.
So you end up with e to the I pi -1 equals 0.
Steve, I know you like the Monty Hall problem, but the next time you have one of your gigantic hangouts, let's do the birthday problem.
Oh, what's the? You're talking about what's the probability of two people having the same birthday in a like a group of like.
So 23 gets you over 50%, and if you have 25, it's I think close to 60.
That one's so counterintuitive, it's ridiculous.
Right, but the math is accessible to a high school student. It's just a matter of like 364 over 365, 1 minus that, then 1 minus 363 over 364 times 364 over 365. It's actually accessible math.
Yeah, no, we could do something like that. Yeah.
What's it? We need a math section of the GDC.
We need a special section for the math stuff, right?
Yeah.
I've been talking about that since day one, Steve. I'll reject the politics, but I'm all for a math section. A math section, a history section.
I was leaving that up to General Han Solo because he wants to do videos on it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he does do videos, but like that
I'll
doesn't
start doing anything except Basic Edition. I'm going to feel very intimidated.
Well, my thing is, if he's going to do it, then he needs to do it in a way that people are going to understand it, and I will take somebody who knows math, and I'll take myself as a layperson who knows a little math, and between the two of us, we will critique the videos and see if they're, good, right? Because I mean, we want videos that people will learn something. So,
but like, if anyone ever wants to talk about math, it's just going to get stuck in the general discussions area. And if I know everyone ever wants to talk about history, it's going to get stuck in the general discussions area. And so, it'd be cool.
Well, no, it wouldn't be in the forum itself. It'll be on the video.
Well, no, I get that, but whatever. I'll shut up, Steve.
Yeah, or be on the GDC page. By the way, let me throw that out there again. I really highly recommend going to the Great Debate Community website and spending 3 seconds to register. It's completely secured. You can pick any goddamn password you want, but it gives you notifications. Because I've had literally people tell me, when is this event? And I have a page called Upcoming Events, and all they have to do is go to it.
Steve,
so I don't know why
it's much work.
It takes literally
I'm
3
kidding.
seconds.
I'm kidding. I know.
Oh, Deconverted Man, yes, I will get this link to you right now.
We're just talking about the GDC wiki, or do we have like a Facebook? We can actually.
No, the actual page.
There's
the
an
GDC
actual
page.
website.
What is it? GDC.com?
Yeah. No, it's www.greatdebatecommunity.com.
Yeah, GDC.com. That's probably some really nasty porn.
Hold on. I got you. Here you go. Here you go. I got you covered. I posted it in the side. It's also in the description of the video.
Muchas gracias.
You're welcome.
Steve, GHS versus negation of P debate. Find a topic. I think that'd be great.
Destroy through Facebook.
That would be good.
That's not what I thought that was. Okay. There's a little F, and it just takes people to your profile.
I feel like I've been here before. Do I already have an account?
I think you're an editor on there. I don't remember.
Steve, I still don't understand how I became a moderator. I don't remember.
Oh, because you're only one of the few people that knew about philosophy that actually gave a shit.
I mean, I like being a moderator. It makes me feel important, but
well, I trust your judgment. I mean, you're not going to moderate like a shit moderator, so that's what I'm looking for. But I do want people that take charge. By the way, that's the Great Debate Community webpage. Go sign up, people.
Well, I did sort of suggest some like alterations to like the rules, like stuff.
You didn't send me anything like that.
No, it was like under the rules thing in the moderator section. I commented I made 2 comments, and one of them was like, maybe we should have like a dictionary for the rules, because we have like 7 rules, and it's like, oh, it's all well and good.
There's 11 now.
Kind of pushing the edges of it. There's
11 now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But see, I don't understand this. Why do I have moderators when 9 times out of 10 the moderator messages me and says, "Hey, what do I do here?"
That's why you need to define the rules a bit more clearly. That's why
they're pretty defined, and even if they're not, use your best judgment. I'm not going to get mad at somebody. I'm
going to use.
Well, I don't apply that.
I'd be shutting down most of it.
Frank, I don't apply that to you. I don't apply that to you. No, I mean seriously, use your best judgment for Pete's sake. I mean, I know people like Jade blocked somebody the other day, and she had every right to. She did a perfect job. She did exactly what I expected her to do in that situation. That she kick somebody out.
I think I'm retarded.
What's that?
I think I'm retarded. I'm trying to get into this. I'm trying to register for this thing. It's screwing up, but I don't know what's going
on. Sometimes people have had a few issues, but all they got is message me. I can fix it.
There should just be like a button which says "click here to join."
Well, because it's got to send you an automated
password.
What's
going on. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, that was the issue.
I got Von Helton as a main page right now.
You must be logged in to post a comment. Log in. Yay. Okay.
Steve, I think we did a pretty good job on that page. I'm sorry. We put effort into that.
That's nice.
Steve, I know you've tried this in the past, but is there any interest in having people like G-Man, not G-Man, but G-Man versus Wayne Fillmore, for example, Young Earth Creationist versus Old Earth Creationist, that kind of thing?
Here's the problem with that. One, the old Earth creationists, the bigger names, they're not interested in debating Young Earth creationists anymore. They're a waste of time. So no, I mean, like Hugh Ross wouldn't want to debate Kent again, right? So I mean, it just I don't see too much of that happening.
Oh, do you guys know that inspiring philosophy is now part of the GDC?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
I thought that was awesome. I'm like, I love the IP. He's like one of my favorite theists.
But he gets a little knocked down by Anti-Citizen X.
It's actually funny. I saw the video. Hold on, sorry, Frank. I saw a video that Inspiring Philosophy made about materialism. I actually commented on it, and he actually commented, actually responded to me. Like if I could actually find that that video in the comments.
We've actually got the Living Dinosaur as official member in the GDC. That's cool as that.
Yeah, me and IP. I've had like I like IP because like when I was like younger and stupider, he had the patience to talk with me for like long conversations, right? So I would have back and forth with him on YouTube like before they completely screwed up the comments, and so I can't find those awesome long conversations anymore.
I've never talked to him. He seems like an okay guy, but like I said, Anti-Citizen X, I think, had way better arguments.
I don't know.
Steve, can I make a meta comment about these type of debates? So you're doing a wonderful public service, Stephen. You know, I'm glad I found your channel, but it's funny because I watched the debate between Fuzz-Rana and PZ Myers, which was, you know, really scholarly debate. I once watched a debate at the Max Planck Institute on YouTube where they were arguing about dark matter, whether it's a particle or they need to modify Newtonian dynamics. And it just seems funny sometimes that we're literally arguing about whether the Earth is flat when, you know, other people are having these really high level scholarly debates about the frontiers of science.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I agree with you. The problem with those types of things, again, they're very, very niche, very specialized. People have to know the topic. I would like to see more of those debates like that, though. I would really like to see, you know, okay, let's compare like the lambda cold dark model to something, you know, like a little different. You know, like a warm cold, what they call it's not cold dark matter, but it's a hot dark matter. I think it's hot dark matter.
Right. There's WIMPs versus, I know what you mean though. Yeah.
Yeah. The WIMPs quintessence.
Hey, Steve, would you mind reading what this comment I made? I made it like a year ago, but I want your opinion on it.
Let me see here. So the many worlds interpretation is bullshit. Okay, well, I don't agree with it, but I don't know if it's bullshit. It leads to quantum suicide, which I think is weird. But yeah, the existence of the ultimate observer God is valid. If we are to believe this, and I don't, as it just seems the God of the gaps fallacy, one has to ask the question: if there's an ultimate observer that creates reality, and we are simply passive observers, doesn't it mean that God is also a passive observer, and that there is something above God that perceives the realm that this ultimate observer resides in? At what point do we stop? What does that mean?
A year ago, so
well, I'm not sure what has to do with multi-worlds interpretation.
Well, no, hold on. I'll show you the video that I commented on. Maybe doing that will give some context.
Okay.
This video, Quantum Mechanics Debunks Materialism.
I haven't watched it.
IP believes that we're all inside the mind of God.
So, he's a
monistic idealist.
I just spent 5 minutes trying to say something and forgot I muted myself to sneeze.
But yeah, that's basically what I was commenting on.
He's really a monistic idealist?
Yeah, well, sort of.
Yeah, he also responded afterwards. We'll get to that afterwards.
Well, I mean, here's you do have something interesting in here, and maybe between Frank and the doctor, we can suss this out because this is going in my uncharted territory type. But let's go for broke here. There is something that I've read, and I believe it's William Lane Craig's argument that has to do with middle knowledge, and middle knowledge is God's knowledge that He knows exactly what you're going to do in any given situation. And he will take you out of a certain universe and put you into a new universe in order to have the actuality of what he wants to have happen. So therefore, you have a choice, right? You have a choice between X and Y. He knows what you're going to choose given a certain condition. So he puts you in that condition in order for you to choose X, which if he wants. And then the other option doesn't get actualized. It's called intermediate knowledge. I think it makes no fucking sense.
It's like
that's not quite it.
Okay,
So-
I may have bastardized it again out of my depths.
Frank and Steve, is that what he calls Molinism? Isn't that what he calls Molinism?
Yeah, Molinism does deal with middle knowledge, but middle knowledge has to do more with counterfactuals. It's like
right, because well, the same thing though. He knows all the counterfactuals, right? If you do this, then this.
Sort of like that makes it sound like a robot, but like I've been thinking about ways that you might ground it in something other than that. Like there's a question as to what the truth maker of a counterfactual is.
But the argument for the Molinistic approach and the intermediate knowledge is that God knows all the counterfactuals, and he actualizes what he wants in the universe, and he puts people in a situation where he knows what they're going to do given that particular situation, and he makes that universe come to reality, and all the rest don't.
I mean, granted, I wrote this a year ago, so a lot of what I said maybe might have been wrong.
Well, the only reason I'm relating to that because that's kind of what the many worlds interpretation is. The many worlds interpretation is basically for every quantum event, both of them get actualized. One of them is what we're in, and the other one goes off, and you never know about it.
No.
Yeah, that's actually
no. What I mean by no is you do not conflate many worlds interpretation with possible worlds.
Yeah, they're not.
Did I say possible world?
Yeah,
well, no.
Possible worlds are
counterfactuals have to do with possible worlds.
Yeah, I understand that. It's similar to the many worlds interpretation, but you're right. Modal realities are not the same thing as possible. Modal realities are possible worlds, and not the same thing as quantum realities. Completely different things. I get that.
So like I said, he responded, and I mean, I guess if you guys want to read that afterwards, but whatever. But yeah, skeptics just throw out God of the gas.
You know what quantum suicide is, Midnight? Ever heard of that?
What?
I'll explain it to you guys. You guys ever heard of quantum suicide?
No.
Oh, cool. New shit.
Sounds familiar. I swear I've heard of that.
Okay, so what quantum suicide is? Yeah, quantum suicide is a hypothesis, which is kind of shitty because the only way you could ever know it's true is you are the only person who's going to know. You can't tell anybody else because obviously you can't prove it to them. And if you're wrong, you're dead. So here's the way it works. Yeah, it's a bad experiment, but here's how it works. You lock yourself in a chamber, and you have a radioactive source, kind of like the Schrodinger's equation, right? The Schrodinger's cat, sorry. And every few seconds is a sample taken of a spin of a particle, okay? And if the spin is up, then it's attached to a nuclear bomb, and you blow up and you die. If the spin is down, it just keeps going to the next time. Okay, so let's say every 3 seconds, right? It detects the proton. If it's spin up, if the nuclear bomb blows up. If it's spin down, you live. Now, 3 seconds go by, and you're still alive. Okay, that's 50-50. Another 3 seconds go by. You're still alive. Okay, now your odds are, what is it? Is it
1 in 4?
What is it?
1 in 4?
1 in 4, 25%. So half of 50. So yeah. So the next time is 12.5, right? And so every second that goes by, or every 3 seconds, you're just getting smaller and smaller chances of you not dying. And if you go by like 50 seconds, or 50 iterations, which would be 150 seconds, and you're not dead, statistically something's up, right? You are branching off to reality where you're not supposed to die, and you are continually going to reality where you're just living, and you died in the other reality. So at 3 seconds, both things happened. One of the realities, it blew up. One of them, it didn't. You're in the new reality, and you are immortal. You cannot die because every time you die, all you do is just jump into a place where you actually lived, and then the other person, the other reality, you died, and they're all, sad. But in this reality, you keep going. So all you do is you keep jumping from one quantum state to another, and you never die.
Well, Steve, I'd actually be willing to try that. If the chamber was big enough for me to have books and everything. So
but what good would it do? It's an experiment you cannot ever tell anybody.
I know.
Look, if I say, look, I've been in this box for 5 days and I haven't died yet, statistically, the only way that's possible is quantum suicide is a reality. Who's going to believe you?
But then how would you even prove that quantum suicide is a reality?
Would a camera not suffice? Would you not be able to videotape you being in there with the conditions and show that it happened? Would that not verify that you'd accomplish this astronomical thing?
Yeah, wouldn't you?
I don't remember the rebuttal to that one off the top of my head.
I don't know. I don't know if that would prove that it's quantum suicide, but I think that would serve as a proof.
Well, I mean, hold on. Wouldn't you keep jumping into a reality where people observe you? They're
Well, the other reality is you're dead.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is that you keep jumping into a reality where you're being observed. Like, actually, never mind. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. You're being observed. You're observing the spin of a proton. That's the observation. That's the measurement.
I guess what I meant to say is that the spin. Wait. There should
be a randomness. There should be a randomness for every time you measure a proton. It should be like spin up. The next one should be spin down, spin up. There should be when you're dealing with probabilities like 50-50, it's very difficult to get like 10 things in a row. It's doable, but after that, it starts getting almost infinitesimal.
I mean,
flipping a coin and getting it, 50 times in a row is what 2 raised to the 50 power, whatever the hell that is.
Would Russian roulette serve better for an example for understanding?
Would quantum suicide even be possible?
Well, it's hypothetical. It's completely hypothetical. I don't believe in the multiverse interpretation to begin with. I believe in the Copenhagen interpretation. That when you have
one idealist. I'm just messing with you.
I'm not an idealist. I'm more of a realist, but it's okay. But I don't believe in naive realism, though. I don't think naive realism makes sense to me. Now, I could be the only one on the planet that thinks that way, but maybe I'm not understanding it correctly. But naive realism seems weird to me.
Well, Steve, can you explain that interpretation?
Oh yeah, the Copenhagen interpretation is simple. Once you observe something or a quantum event comes into reality, the quantum wave function has collapsed, and that's the only one that's manifest.
So in other words, there's only one universe.
There's only one quantum universe, yeah.
But I mean, I just think about it. Why wouldn't the pattern repeat? Because I mean, we have more. There are billions of stars, billions of galaxies. Why stop at one universe?
Well, I believe that's different. Okay, that's different. Okay, you're confusing two different things. The quantum realities are different than the multiverse. Two completely different things. The multiverse posits other bubbles in the quantum universe, but they're separate, isolated universes that probably are on top of us. They think one of the current models is that the dark matter that's causing these large gravitational forces in galaxies could be another universe in our own universe, as far as like overlaying, like but in another dimension. So,
Steve, just a helpful heuristic. Every 2 to the 10 is 1,000, so 2 to the 50 is a petabyte. It's quadrillion, approximately 1 quadrillion.
That's a lot. Yeah, the odds of that happen, flipping a coin that many times and getting heads, is not going to happen for a fair coin. But here's a trick question for you, not for you, Yo. If I flip a coin, right? It's a fair coin. It doesn't land on its side. It has to actualize either heads or table. Your event space is 1, 0.5, and 0.5. I flip a coin. The first time I flip it, it's 50-50, right? Would you all agree?
Yes.
That's fair, right? Okay. Now, I flip it 10 times in a row, and it does land up heads, 10 times heads. The 11th try, what are the odds of it landing heads again?
50%.
I told you you don't answer.
Sorry.
Yeah, the probabilities aren't dependent.
Right, because it does not based upon prior events.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a hard time conceptualizing that.
Steve,
I forgot it for a moment.
Depending if you have time, you should tell them the Monty Hall problem again. That is so counterintuitive that the greatest mathematician of the last 50 years didn't believe it until you saw computer simulations running. He wouldn't have logical proof.
Yeah, I know a lot of they actually had people did not agree with that. I think it was like von Sant, that chick, the really high IQ.
Vos Savant, yeah, she's like
Vos Savant, yeah.
But the mathematician's name was Erdős. He was a Hungarian mathematician, and he wouldn't believe it until they ran thousands of computer simulations.
That's weird because if you just do the enumerations, it makes sense. You don't have to have computer simulation. You could do it just by the numerations. You guys really want me to run the Monty Hall problem?
Sure.
Do you guys know? Is anybody here that doesn't know it?
I think it's like there's doors and one of them has a goat or something.
All right.
I don't, but go ahead. I don't care.
Well, I'll pick one. Ozzy or Midnight. Who do you want me to run it with?
Ozzy, I guess.
Oz. Okay, Oz. So, okay. The way the Monty Hall problem works is this. It was a game show back in the 60s and 70s, and the guy's name that was the host was called Monty Hall. And one of the things they would have near the end of the show is they would give a contestant a choice between three doors. They would have three doors in front of them, right? And between one of the doors was a car, and between the other two doors there was a goat or something similar, right? So two goats and a car. Now the rules of the games are simple. One, Monty Hall always has to allow you to swap after your first pick, right? And it'll never open the door that you. No, the rules are no. Wait, the rules are he has to allow you to swap after you make the initial choice. Okay, so let's say you say I pick door number 1. Okay, now remember there's 3 doors here. I know where the car is at. In my head I know where the car is at. So I say door number 1, right? And Monty Hall says I'm going to open door number 2 and show you that it's a goat. Okay. I have 1 and 3 closed now. Now he asks you, do you want to keep the door that you picked, 1, or do you want to switch to door 3? So the question now becomes, is it better to swap to the unopened door that you didn't pick, or keep the door that you originally held? Because initially, I'll give you a hint, initially, there's 3 doors, there's 1 car, which means you have a 1/3 chance of winning. I think everybody agrees upon that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Once he opens that second door, he opens door number 2, right? What are your odds now?
They'd be half, wouldn't they not?
Okay, so you're saying if they're half...
It'd be a 50-50 at that point. Because
okay, it's 50-50.
Option is what I meant.
Okay, you're saying it's 50-50. Now, do you want to keep the door that you had? Do you want to swap, or does it matter?
I would keep it. I don't see that it matters. The odds are the...
That's what the mathematician said. He was wrong. This is why. This is why. Given the situation I just gave you, I'm going to do this enumeration a little bit differently. Given the situation I just told you, I'm going to tell you right now the car was in door 3. Okay? Now, if I have, say, door number 1, okay, he opened door number 2. He cannot open door number 3 because that has the car. It ends the game. Right?
Yeah.
Because he always has to allow your swap. If he opens door number 3, you don't get a swap. So he cannot open door number 3, right? And when he opens door number 2, you still have a 1/3 chance of winning because your initial condition was 1/3. Okay? But by knowing there's a goat there, right, you actually increase your odds by swapping to the door that you didn't pick by 1/3, meaning now that you have a 2/3 chance to win by swapping.
That doesn't make any sense to me, though, because if the odds were 1 in 3 when there were 3 doors, why would they not now be 1 in 2 when there are 2? Because he's
can I take a stab at this, Steve?
Sure, go ahead.
So this is the way to think about it. This is the easiest way. There are lots and lots of proofs. There are 3 doors total, yes? Everyone agree? So in the first case, you were shown 1 door, and so you had 1 out of 3. In the second case, you're effectively given 2 doors, so now your odds are 2 out of 3. That's the simplest way to understand it.
A question for my thought process. Are we talking the chance that you pick the door that is correct, or the chance that you win the car?
To win the car.
To win the car.
You want to win the car. That's the whole goal.
Okay, yeah. Then yeah, I'm not good at math. That might just be what's getting me here. I don't know.
Well, I'll make it a little bit simpler because this is where you hit it and you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Let's say I have 100 doors. Okay, so picture 100 doors in front of you.
Yes.
1 car, the rest are goats. Okay, so just pick. Let's say I'm telling you right now the car is door 100. Okay.
Yeah.
You would say by looking at that, the odds of you picking that 100 door is 1 in 100, right? Very, very low. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you pick door 5. Monty Hall is going to open up every other door, but the door you picked and door 100. Okay. This is why it's not 50-50. You still have 2 doors, But your initial pick, you had far more likely to pick a door with a goat. But you know that other door that he didn't open probably has the car, because your odds of picking the initial door of the car was only 1 in 100.
It's
so now by swapping, guess what happens?
Because you have less options now. Instead of it being a 1 in 100, it's a 1 in 2. So you're boosting.
Well, no. It's not 1 in 2. It's you swapping. You have a 99 to 1 chance of winning.
Well, no, that's what I was saying. Because I was trying to find a way to explain it. Because
so how about this? How about this?
An option, so it makes your choice range smaller, making your odds go up.
You almost are guaranteed to win if you swap in that condition. Look at if the car is at 100, right? Pick any door between 1 and 99.
77.
77. I open up every other door but 77 and 100. Do you swap? Do you win?
Possibly, yeah.
No.
It's a 50-50 chance.
No. It's not 50-50. The car.
If it's a 50-50 chance, the swapping shouldn't change anything.
Right, but it's not 50-50. The car is on door 100. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you said 77, I open every other door but 77 and 100. If you swap in that particular case, do you win?
Yeah, you win.
Okay. Pick another door.
67.
67. I open every other door but 67 and 100. If you swap, do you win? Same conditions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the only way you can lose is if you pick door 100. Would you agree? Because if you swap from 100, you lose your car. So there are 99 doors you can pick. If you swap with any one of those 99 doors, you win. So you have a 99% probability of winning if you swap in that particular game.
Oh, okay. I think I understand now.
Does that help?
Oh, yeah, I understand now. I understand what you're saying now. I got you.
It's a tough problem. A lot of people struggle with it. So
there is a more mathematical way of doing it using, like I said, a full enumeration, which is a tree, a branching tree, and I've done it that way. But it's really not that necessary. I mean, I'm
not good at math, so that is actually a good way to explain that to me.
I think the inverse approach might be was good. Like you say, you take both the case where you chose the right door, and you chose the wrong door, and you explain how if you switch after choosing the right door.
Yeah, but see, like Flower Ma is in the live chat, and she says, once you choose a door, your chance is 50-50, no matter how many doors there are. No, Flower Ma, it never resolves to 50-50. The Monty Hall problem never, ever, 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 given the conditions of the game, never resolves to 50-50. Now, there are what do they call them? Variations, right? But those variations are, not worth getting into. But if you stick to the original rules, you never have 50-50, even though you have 2 doors.
Is it a dependent probability in some sense?
It's because your initial conditions are you have 1/3 chance, right? Okay, look at he's only limited what he can open. So by opening door number 2, he's forcing him to tell you more information that the door you picked probably contains a goat, and the other door probably contains a car. You have a 2/3 chance that the other door is the car. Just like the 100 doors, you have a 99% chance that door that you swap to is the car. 99% chance. Same thing. By swapping to the car in the initial game, you have a 2/3 chance of winning. You've increased your odds by 1/3.
Why does it? The question, I think that people want to say that it goes to 1/2, but why does it stay in the third evaluate? Why don't you evaluate it?
Because your initial condition was 1/3, and that doesn't change. Your initial chance of picking the right door is only 1 in 3. So that doesn't change. If you never swap between the beginning of the game and the end of the game, it's always 1/3. You never change it. Right?
Why doesn't the initial condition change?
Because if you don't swap, my initial condition was 1/3. He opens door number 2. You say, I don't want to swap. Okay, I still have door 1. He opens door 3, revealing the car. You lose, and you had an initial condition of 1/3. During the game, you had 1/3, and at the end, you had 1/3. That was your chance to win.
Steve, to be fair, there were over 20 PhDs in mathematics and statistics who got this problem wrong. So you guys are in good company if you don't understand it.
Yeah, no, it's not intuitive by any means. I happen to look at this problem pretty in depth, and I find it fascinating. But once you get a hold of it, it's like, oh yeah, this makes perfectly good sense.
Who figured it out?
Have you heard of Hilbert's Hotel, Steve?
Of course. Hilbert Hotel says that when you have an infinite amount of rooms,
let's do it for these guys. Let's do it for them.
Well, you know what? You might be able to do it a little bit better. I mean, I know what a hotel is when you have infinite amount of rooms and you shift one room.
Yeah, so hey guys, suppose I have a hotel with an infinite number of rooms. You guys with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, accountably. So here's the problem. I've got a bus coming, and this bus holds an infinite number of passengers. Is there any way I can accommodate all the passengers given the hotel's already full?
Yes.
How?
Move everyone over one room.
Not quite. That doesn't give it to you. What you mean is
make everyone move over to two room, like the room, two rooms to the right. So you leave or something like that.
The easy way to say it is take your door number, multiply it by 2, move to that room.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, I thought you just add each room. You just add 2 to it or something. So if your room, if you're at if your room like 305, you move that person to 307. Is that right?
Right, but it's easier if you describe it as just multiplying by 2, right? So if you're in 305,
sure.
Yeah, go to 610.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but then you'll just have so many more empty rooms than you have.
So you can accommodate an influx of an infinite more people, even though you have an infinite amount of rooms that's already filled.
And fellas, this is really important because when you hear creationists say, "Oh, that's intuitive," mathematics, you guys mentioned quantum physics before. But math is replete with counterexamples to quantum intuitiveness. I'm sorry, to intuitive thinking, because when you get into the infinite and transfinite and
cardinalities.
Yep.
Aleph naught. Oh my God, that is some crazy shit. Aleph naughts and Aleph 1 and Aleph 2. Yeah, crazy stuff.
That's why I don't believe anyone who says, well, it's intuitive, because intuition often fails us in the empirical realm.
Well, I had a guy just today, I think it was on Godless Cranium's video, tell me that Zeno's paradox hasn't been resolved. And I just wrote something really quick the other day. Well, it was yesterday and today. But I just mentioned him, in passing. Oh no, that's been solved by differential calculus. We know how to solve Zeno's paradox, because he was making the argument that motion shouldn't exist. And he's like, "No, Steve, you should look that up." I'm like, "Okay, now you're gonna get my wrath." And I gave him in depth. I'm like, "Look here's the formula for an infinite summation. Here's what an infinite sequence is. This is how we would factor it with physics. This is why motion works. This is why you don't have discontinuities." He hasn't gotten me back on it, but I was like, "Yeah, I believe me, I can explain to you why Zeno's paradox has been resolved." But yeah, he was sure of it. He's like, "Oh no, that's been an unresolved thing." And I'm like, "Shit, that's been resolved since calculus."
Yeah, but it depends on how you work out calculus, right? Like you have standard analysis and non-standard analysis, and both of them have different assumptions as to the nature of numbers.
Sure, but two different things. In non-standard analysis, certain things still hold true. An infinite sequence still holds to be an infinite sequence, or an infinite summation, or a limited sequence is still defined to be, as a limit converging upon the value of the sequence. So what is it? Lim s sub. Oh God, lim s sub. Fuck.
You trying to say lim soup, Frank? I'm just Steve. Lim soup or lim inf?
No. I'm not using suprenium. No, the limit of a sequence is actually defined as the limit of the sequence. Fuck, I don't remember the limit here.
Oh, you mean series and sequence? You mean that the series is the limit of the partial sums? The sequence.
Well, that's true too. No, but that's not what I'm saying. I know that the sequence is the limit of the series of the partial sums. I've done that numerous times. No, the actual formula for I know what it was. The limit of the sequence is defined to be the limit of which the sequence converges upon.
Yeah, so is that the -1 + 1 converges upon 0.5 or something like that?
No, it's like the 1 + 2 + 3 + 4 = -1/12. Even though it's a divergent series, but in non-standard analysis, it's a rigid series.
Oh, you guys talking about Cauchy principal values when we have? Okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
So. It's weird. I have this
Well, no, do you remember what a telescoping series is, EO?
Sure, of course, yeah.
Okay.
All the middle terms cancel, yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to do a non-standard analysis for a telescoping series, when you have alternating 1, -1, 1, -1, 1, -1, it actually comes out, if I remember correctly, to a half, right?
Yeah, 0.5.
Yeah. So that is really strange, but that's how you would do it in a non-standard analysis.
Right, but mentioning non-standard analysis, it's right in the title. We don't. I mean, I myself, I went to graduate school. We hardly ever did it. It was just not something.
Yeah,
the reason I bring it up is because, like, if you want to solve like weird philosophical issues and you're going to appeal to like calculus, which is really just like a system of converting, you know, certain numerical values according to basically an assumed inference rule, and you're not going to ground the rules in any, like, you know, when you analyze the rules, there are different ways to. There are questions.
No, Frank, I think you're way off, Frank, because we can look at the limits, for example, approaching a wall, and that's how they teach calculus students. Everyone can see in the physical world, anyone who doesn't know calculus, what the limit is going to be of taking half a step of the previous turn.
It's going to be 1. I
completely disagree.
Yeah, the limit's going to be 1. You can see that, you know, intuitively, right? Because if I fire an arrow next through the, you know, to a wall, the limit is going to be when it hits the wall, which is 1, and I could figure that out by going a half plus a quarter plus 1/8 plus 1/16 1 plus 1/32. When I take the summation, the limit of all those terms added up, the limit of that equals 1.
And more than that, the notion of a limit is you can get arbitrarily close to a specific number, and you can see that too by taking as many steps as you need to get to that arbitrarily close distance.
But obviously, it eventually gets there. The summation is completed.
Yes.
I've actually had an engineer argue to me, well, no, if you take a sequence like that, it never gets where it's going because it's an infinite time. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is math. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You don't have any time involved in just taking a sequence of something. You just do it. Here's the sequence. Here's what I get. Here's what it converges upon. You know, you can use a Cauchy sequence or a Dedekind cut. I was like, you're an engineer? Fuck you. You're an idiot.
So you're saying basically we do these calculations in B time, right, Steve? B theory calculations.
In B theory of time. It's just there. It's done. You know, it's all points are existence.
Steve,
So,
to be fair, he's probably an engineer by degree, and somehow he managed to get it.
well, I tell you what, I got to tell you, this guy's actually he started my YouTube stuff, because when I started on YouTube, I was actually arguing math. And this guy did not believe that 1 equaled 0.99 repeating. He believed that 1/3 did not equal 0.333 repeating. And a mathematician from Sweden, who was a friend of mine, and myself and many others, for years trying to explain to this guy why he was wrong. And EO can tell you right now, he was wrong.
No, but Steve, let's go the other way. I wanted to do this with you. You've heard of Hardy's argument that you actually only ever need the positive integers. I'll give you a quick sketch. So first of all, you understand if I take the the lowest common denominator and multiply it, I really don't need any fractions. I don't need negative numbers. I can just adjust the scale. And as Hardy pointed out, all finite decimals are approximations. So you can make the argument that a physicist only ever needs the rational numbers, and even then, just the positive integers. Did you follow that argument?
Sort of, kind of, but you're just saying all they need is Z plus.
Right, or n, really. N is the way, the positive integers.
No, a Z plus is the positive integers.
No, we say n. N
is the natural numbers.
N is the natural numbers.
Yeah, which are positive integers.
Yeah, but so is Z plus.
There's a debate about the definition of n. Some people
but a number theorist will call it n.
Really?
Most basic, yes. I mean, they're equivalent, but we call it n.
Okay, yeah, I mean, they've got to be equivalent, but I would call it Z plus.
Does n include 0 or not?
No, well, that used to be one of the last controversies in mathematics, Franks, whether n included 0 or not. But I was taught that the whole numbers include 0, which is n.
Yeah, I was taught natural numbers start at 1. I was taught the natural numbers start at 1, and then 0 is in the whole numbers. So.
I was taught that too, but that's one of the last controversies. So was the axiom of choice, but very few people argue about that anymore.
Yeah, like I said, there's so many different axioms in the ZFC that I don't even know what the hell they are. They're all second order predicate logic. Isn't math fun, guys?
Yes.
Let's be fair to Frank, though. It seems to me non-standard analysis is very analogous to paraconsistent logic. I just don't see widespread use of them.
There you go. That's a good point. Yeah, Frank. That's a perfect way of understanding that. Non-standard analysis is yeah, of course you do. Doesn't paraconsistent logic get rid of the law of excluded middle?
Well, yes.
So, yeah. Okay.
I mean, like,
fuck that shit. I don't even know how I know this shit. I just pick this stuff up.
I mean, I think they're paraconsistent logic. Like, the whole point of it is just to be able to handle contradictions, and like, so if you I don't know. I can't remember. Like the main reason I started looking into it was the liar's paradox, but there's other reasons for it.
Did you see that gameplay that I posted the other day from that one website with the little game you play? Wasn't that great?
That was awesome. Yeah, I love that.
That was fucking awesome. I sat there for quite some time and messed around with it. I'm like, this really makes sense. This is really an interesting version of the liar paradox.
I need to look at that.
Wait, what did that have to do with the liar's paradox?
Because you don't know how the other person is going to respond. Do you?
That's not the liar's paradox. The liar's paradox is this.
It sure is. The liar's paradox is do you tell a lie and hoping the other person tells the truth? You will get out of jail.
Not the liar's paradox. The liar's paradox is this sentence is not true.
No.
Or the following sentence is not true in the previous sentence.
I thought it was that game of like there's three people, one's a liar, one tells the truth, and all that. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Have you never watched The Labyrinth as a kid?
No, you're talking. I read a book like that had like one tribe always told the truth. One tribe.
You're talking about the prisoner's dilemma.
I'm talking about prisoner's dilemma.
Yeah, the liar's paradox is something completely different.
That's right. The liar's paradox is that everything I say is false. I'll show you. Telling the truth. But isn't the liar's paradox resolved with second order predicate logic?
No, I don't know. There's people who try to use there's like several different approaches to attempt to resolve it, and there are counters to those. Yeah,
I'm thinking of the prisoner's dilemma. I'm sorry, you're right.
No, but I think the way that so there's like the hierarchy of meta languages, the hierarchy of there's another hierarchy. There's like two hierarchical approaches to resolve the liar's paradox. But like the problem is like they don't like account for like dialogue somehow. Like I don't know. It's like.
Hey, Steve, would you mind posting that? Or I mean, if it's still in the grave, if it's in a great debate community, I can always see if I can find it.
What are you trying to find?
You know, the liar's dilemma. As the link you posted.
Oh, it's not that far back. It's you searched like last week. It's just basically you can't miss it. It's like these two guys standing next to a machine.
Oh, one has a sad face, the other has like an evil face.
Yeah, they're playing a game. Is if you have two people with a machine that one side has a coin box, the other side has a coin box, and then you put a coin in, and you get if the other person puts a coin in, everybody gets like 2 points or 3 points. If you put a coin in and they don't, they take your money and they get an extra point. So you don't know if you trust people or not. And there's different ways of responding on how somebody acts. And do you forgive them if they cheat you once? Do you always cheat them? Do you always not cheat them? And to come to find out that almost the best thing all the times is basically do unto others as they'd have others do unto you.
Yep.
Isn't that strange?
It's awesome.
That's really what it boiled down to, right?
Yeah, well, there was a variation of it. Right? There's a strict translation of it, but then there's if you would have others forgive you once, right? Like so, like there was an issue with like if you're too strictly applying that, then there are certain circumstances which you go extinct. But if
I know, but it's a general good rule of thumb.
Yeah, it's a good rule. No.
Real quick, sat in a satire. Don't you fall asleep? You're driving people. You better pay attention. Keep your eyes on that road.
Wait, what?
Satan and satire is in the live chat, and he's driving people, and they're asleep in the back seat. So I got to make sure that he stays awake. We still have a lot of people watching, so whatever. I don't know why. It's like nobody in here right now. The fruit on the ground shit's long over. We got into math. That's how bored we got. This guy Robert Shilling was not even worth really having much of a discussion with. He was that fucking fruit on the ground.
Yeah, we have 45 people still. I count that as a victory.
Steve, honestly,
at 1 o'clock in the morning. Shit, yes.
Yeah, honestly, I think this guy wanted attention, and you gave him a lot of it. So probably, he's now going. Right. Yeah, so he's now happy. I got attention.
I didn't rage quit. So here's the best question of the night, though, and I won't judge you for how you answer it, although there's only one correct answer. Voltron, vehicles or lions?
Wow, really?
Please answer this right.
What?
Voltron.
What is Voltron?
You suck. You fucking suck. Get the fuck out of here. No, come on.
I think I've watched like a...
I don't want to talk to you. Live chat. Here's the question. Which one's better? Vehicles or lions for Voltron? Again, my opinion is the only one that matters, and there's only one answer to this. So we'll see what you guys say.
Is that like the show that they redid on Netflix?
Retcon says, yeah, no, that was on Netflix. Retcon says Lions. Oh my God, no, Vehicles kicked Lions' ass. Are you kidding me? When Lions took over Voltron, I'm like, what the hell happened to this show?
Well, now we can't answer it truthfully then, because we already know what your preference is.
Yes, it's Vehicles.
Speaking of lions, Steve, do you remember when Cecil the Lion was slaughtered? Do you remember that?
I do.
So in one of the great clarifications of all time, a newspaper reporter felt compelled to tell us that when Cecil's brother was killed, he wrote in parentheses, who is also a lion.
Well, I know, was it his brother or his son? I thought I know one of his relatives died. I remember that. But yeah, who was also a lion. No shit. People asking who the fuck is Voltron. Did you guys not have a childhood?
Dude, you're like what, 60? Like
you know what? Here we go. This is called Retribution. No, I'm not gonna. Really, you don't know Voltron, Guardian of the Galaxy?
I've heard of it. Like,
had missiles come out of his fingers.
Voltron toy or something.
He was kind of a Transformers knockoff, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah, well, he was like the original Transformer.
You mean, did it create the Transformers?
Like the Power Rangers Mechazords or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Power Rangers. Well, I thought the Alliance. Yeah, I think the Alliance did come first. That's right. Than the Vehicles, but the Vehicles was a better incarnation. But it was no. Actually, Vehicles was like Voltron 1 and
yeah, I'm almost certain that
Lions was Voltron 1 and Vehicles was Voltron 3rd. I thought.
I'm almost certain that Netflix has revived Voltron. I'm looking it up really quick because I think I was watching that.
How about Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
Oh Lord, that was on Netflix. That was on
I don't watch Netflix. I don't fucking know what's on Netflix.
Yeah, it is on. Voltron is on Netflix. Like they have a new version of it.
You guys don't watch or didn't watch Space Ghost?
Was that like? I think I've heard of that.
How funny, Steve! Voltron came a week earlier.
Hold on,
Yeah.
wasn't Facebook Space Ghost? You know that book that that show where it was the two teenagers and a monkey.
He had a talk show that he did. Oh, Retcon is back. Thank you. Vehicles was 3rd in the comics, but 2nd in the animation. That's why.
Well, no, hold on. Steve, there was Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and then there was also like an actual show. An actual like real.
Oh, was there?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Coast to Coast AM, Space Coast to Coast. Yeah. See, Paul Gia knows what I'm talking
show,
about.
Right? That was.
Yeah. It was a talk show.
Okay, yeah, I watched that on like Adult Swim when I was like.
Yeah.
7.
Adult Swim.
I don't remember any of it.
What show was Meatwad from? Anybody remember that?
Oh, Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Very good. Yeah. And what was the other ones? Master Shake and Frylock?
Yeah, Frylock.
That show was funny, I gotta admit.
Yeah, it was.
That was messed up.
They pushed the boundaries of that shit. I love Meatwad.
Meatwad got the money.
Did you see?
Meatwad got the honey. See, driving in my car, looking like a star.
Did you see the last episode?
No.
Like the very last.
I stopped watching that ages ago.
Oh.
My favorite was like the demonic taco or the demonic, not a taco. It was a Shake was eating like a demon possessed
sandwich.
Yeah, and each time he ate it, he got like sent to hell for a couple minutes, and he kept eating it and eating it away. And like in the end, he throws away like the tomatoes or something because he doesn't like them. He's a reoccurring character. It's like the demonic sandwich, but he was just tomatoes.
The only animation I watch anymore is I like Rick and Morty.
Oh, of course. I haven't watched the 3rd episode yet, but
I've already. Oh, Pick a Rick.
No, the 3rd, the 2nd.
No, Pick a Rick was 3rd, wasn't it?
No, I think it was the 2nd.
Was it?
The 2nd episode was like the
right 3rd, so the 4th. I don't know. I don't remember anymore.
I think it's the 3rd.
Dang it, what's it called? The Post-Apocalypse, and the first episode was like the one that aired way earlier.
Yeah,
yeah, because the first one months ago. What, Theo?
Are you allowed to be up this late without drinking?
Well, my diet says I am. I am going to lose 25 pounds by the beginning of the year.
Best of luck. Best of luck.
Might. I've already, like I said, I'm not kidding. I already shut it down, but I have a spreadsheet where I put all the numbers in. I spent hours crunching numbers of what my caloric intake has to be, what my BMI is, what my goals are. Broke it down by month, broke it down by caloric thing by date, broke it down what exercise I got to do. I mean, I spent a lot of time working on this. If it doesn't work, then something's seriously wrong because the numbers don't lie. What?
Anyway, it was episode 4. I apologize.
Oh, is it? But I mean, I got this belly, and I got to get rid of it. I don't like it, so I might as well suck it up for a couple months and get back to at least a 38 waist. 44 is big.
How tall are you, Steve? 6'3", 6'2"?
5'11".
You look much taller for some reason.
Yeah, well, my dick looks a lot bigger sometimes too, but whatever.
Also, I'd like to point out that his picture is younger. So good job.
That picture's only 3 years old. Seriously, it is. I want to show you something. I did a blowout, so check this out. You guys see how long my hair is? It's actually down to my shoulders.
Jesus.
Yeah. Okay, wait a second. I can't hear you. It is. I can't. Yeah, it doesn't look very long now, but it actually goes down. I can actually eat it. So I want my hair to go about that much longer, so about another year. So yeah, just get in there. And I trim this today. I gotta trim it every month, or else it doesn't grow right. Does it look even?
I just want to know what you're going to get me for Christmas, Steve.
Well, you know what? I got good news. I got bad news. The good news is I'm going to get you nothing, but the bad news is you get as much of it as you want.
What?
That makes no sense.
You're the worst Santa ever.
I do not look like Santa because I have a goatee. I don't have a full beard. I shaved all this. It was too itchy. I'm glad that I did. I mean, yeah, it would have been nice by now. It would have been like way down to here, but not the style I'm going for. So I do want to look like an evil scientist. On Tinder, I'm 6 foot, black, and 210 pounds of muscle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm getting an eye appointment. I'm actually getting contacts because I used to wear contacts. So this is how hopefully tell me that I look different without my glasses. Does it look a little more menacing? Like mysticism, like I will fucking eat your soul, bitch. I swear to motherfucking God, I will shit down your fucking windpipe after I rip your dick off.
You need to add some country to that. You need to
I'm not very intimidating, am I?
Yeah, but if you lowered your voice a bit and put on a country accent, it would kind of look intimidating because
I'm getting there. I'm going to work on my intimidation factor. Yeah.
So you boy,
listen here, boy.
I don't know what you're doing.
Hey boy, you look mighty cute in them dear jeans.
Delirious, 1984.
Damn right. One of the best. That's when Eddie Murphy was funny. Imagine
him doing that routine now.
I would still be laughing my ass off. That routine was hilarious.
Yeah, you, but many other people wouldn't.
What happened was though, Eddie Murphy did something called a movie called Pluto Nash, which fucking killed him because that movie is one of the all-time worst box office movies of all time. It lost something like $100 and fucking some odd $1 million.
I was so bad about it. Jesus.
It was just a bad movie, bad plot, bad acting. It lost a shit ton of money. I think it was they spent like $100 million on it, and it made like 24.
Wow. I mean, is it a college? Is it worse than Food Fight and Ghostbusters combined?
Well, Ghostbusters the original was good. The new one sucked.
Well, no. That's what I meant. The new one.
Yeah. No, the new one sucked. Somebody said, Retcon said, imagine trying to do Blazing Saddles now. Yeah, it wouldn't fly very well. Which is a shame because Blazing Saddles was fucking brilliant, right?
What was the movie about?
Blazing Saddles was about a town in a western town with Cleveland Little And what was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory guy? What's his name? Oh, come on. The guy who played Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I'm not looking it up. Come on, somebody. What's
Gene Wilder?
Gene Wilder, thank you. From Young Frank. You know what? I should have thought Young Frankenstein because I know Gene Wilder from Young Frankenstein. And it's a whole skit of them just having this I guess this Hedley Lamar is trying to take over the town, and they're fighting it, and yeah, it was a brilliant movie. It was so fucking hilarious for its time, way over the top. I mean, it was racist and sexist and just hilarious. Back in the day, where you can actually be racist and sexist, and people wouldn't take it for more than what it was. That's what comedy was in those days.
Yeah.
Paula Gio would know. Paula Gio knows his movies, I think. We should have movie night. We should have a trivia movie night. I bet Paul G would be doing really well in movie trivia night.
Does he ever come in these hangouts, Steve? I've never heard his voice.
Paul G? Yeah, he comes in all the time. Yeah.
Steve, I think it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this to a close. So, but I mean, people are still watching. I know Satan and the Satire are still driving. So, but I think we kind of ran this course. I wanted to keep this video on the fruit of ground stuff, but obviously we started getting to math and other stuff. So, yeah, what is what it is. Anything else we want to throw out there? What is today? Today is Sunday. So, Monday, I'm definitely not going to be on. Tuesday is Talking Show Tuesday.
Monday. It's like 1 a.m.
Yeah, I'm not going to be on tomorrow. I got stuff I got to do around here. All right, so hey, who wants the last word? You want the last word?
No, give it to Midnight.
You're not allowed to give it to somebody else. No, go ahead. Midnight, go ahead. Take it away.
I love math.
Assalamu alaikum.